OG, we OG, oh no, G. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload, yeah. Experts on reload, yeah. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock, ayy. Runes is coming, everybody on a knot, ayy. It's a nuisance, Ordinal Revolution, ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, it's my guy for real, bro. Got friends right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro. Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, like it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nookies on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. Started Satoshi's nothing above me. Bitcoin's alive, what you gon' do? Mempool fees are high. Ordinal. Where does it start? Nobody knows. It's a revolution, ayy. Bitcoin is the one, no substitution, ayy. With Shizzy and Yagobi, it's Ordinal Revolution.
Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We are live for another Ordinal hour, and this one is going to be absolutely amazing today, guys. We have so many amazing topics to talk about. Some Bitcoin stuff in the beginning, obviously, and then when we get to a lot of runes and stuff like that. So today's show's topic is Bitcoin runes down big. We've seen a comeback a little bit this morning. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into some of your favorite runes. If there's a rune that you guys want us to take a look at, put it in the chat. We'll spend some time on it today. We'll kind of look at it. We're going to go for 2 hours today, so it's going to be a fun one. But we need comments, guys. Put your comments in the chat. Let us know what you're thinking. The more comments you guys have, the longer we'll stay. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Bitcoin is having a very up and down day, to say the least. Me and Yagobi were talking. Oh, down 94. Oh, wow, up to 96. Oh, back down to 95. It's been a fun day. You see Merlin jump up to 44 cents today. Went all the way down to 38 cents. It was a very fun morning to watch the price action. Guys, this is the bull market. This is the craziness. This is where it all happens. This is where, you take $1,000 and potentially turn it into 100,000 or even $1 million if you're really, really lucky. There's opportunities in these markets, and we're going to help you guys find them. Whether that's BRC20, whether that's runes, whether that's an ordinal collection. We feel like those, 10,000 X's, those 1,000 X's, those 100 X's are here. And we're going to help find you guys the best ones. So without further ado, we bring in my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up,
man? A question for you. Is there a 1,000X out there in this ecosystem?
Yes. There's 1,000X. There's 1,000X. Of course, man. What are you talking about? We're just now getting like the energy going for this bull market, right? Bitcoin's still in that phase. I think people aren't realizing that, it starts with Bitcoin. And until Bitcoin says, I'm planting my flag here temporarily at this price point, that's whenever everything else can kind of get really frisky, lively, however you want to call it. But I did notice that there was a bit of a bounce back for the runes ecosystem, 24-hour bounce back. So it is minimal, but good sign so far. But it has been bloody the past couple of days. I'll tell you that.
What do you say to the guy who is sending their XRP or sending their Bitcoin to Coinbase, cash down XRP, and then playing over an XRP ecosystem with those runes? What do you say to that guy, or chasing gains on other chains?
If they're good at it, they'll bring it back to the mother chain, right? To where look, it's always been a passing of the torch of liquidity, from hot narrative ecosystem to the next one, right? So right now, what seems to be happening is Bitcoin's already kind of had its initial little aggressive, well, I would say decent aggressiveness. It got to 99,400, but it's not done. It's just kind of paused a little bit. But what has happened now is some of these other like blue chips are kind of, tinkering on the ledge of blue chip have kind of taken a push up. And some of it has to do with the regulations probably going to be friendly, like XRP experiencing finally this nice thrust up that these XRP holders have held on to for a long time. And a lot of people don't realize that they actually have their own ledger, XRPL, to where people can launch meme coins and stuff. So I think that it's a shift of narrative temporarily, but I think it's going to shift again, right? Cardano is going through something similar to where it's starting to be hyper aggressive, and all these ancient hodlers that have been kind of told that they're dumb for holding on to these things, they're actually going up, and I'm happy for them. But at the end of the day, as we all know, Bitcoin is the rock, and the ecosystem of Bitcoin is the new narrative. And I think it's going to be the hottest one heading into this bull market.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. 100%. In previous bull markets, you've seen Bitcoin go first, Ethereum to follow, and then the large caps, meaning XRP and Cardano. Ethereum looks like it has been skipped. Are you seeing that as well?
Yes, I have noticed that, but I don't think it gets completely skipped. I think it starts to move whenever the time is right. Right. I'm not saying time is right as in people are like have their finger on a button, but I think if people expect Ethereum to completely skip this bull run, is just naive and not really understanding how the bull markets work. Now, XRP kind of did that last cycle. It didn't really experience the super gains, and people were sad about that. But Ethereum is different than XRP. Ethereum has way more support from a corporate level that's more dispersed than just kind of the centralized big early investors on XRP early. And XRP has struggled since the start, actually, in terms of like legalities and stuff. There's been a lot of pressure against them with Ethereum. There hasn't been very much. Gary Gensler's even almost said that it's a commodity multiple times, right? So I think it has its moment, but it's definitely not starting things off like it usually does. So that's definitely unique.
Yeah. So obviously, Michael Saylor is a big driver in Bitcoin. Will we see an Ethereum version of Michael Saylor come out and start maybe adding Ethereum to their their treasury or whatever they hold, wherever if it's a company or a big a billionaire? Do you see that happening? And maybe that is what they need to really begin their upward momentum.
Look, it already has an ETF, and I think Solana has theirs as well, right? Or it's about to come.
No.
So it's only Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. Okay,
Yep.
so yeah, it already has this ETF. So I think there's going to be some giga whales that do play it. They're probably eyeing it, probably consolidating it, right? Or like what's it called whenever you're just adding you know what I'm saying? So they're in that process right now, and it has shown little bits accumulating little bits of life, right? It got to 3,700, but it hasn't really had that push yet, but I do think it comes. And when that comes, I think that's whenever people will say, okay, all season has started. Right now, some of these older blue chips that really have taken a while to move are starting to, and that's good for those communities. But the ETH one is really when the alt season will start, I think.
Yeah, 100% agree. Let's move along to Bitcoin here. So this is a tweet from Plan B. He says, see those red dots? Bitcoin pumps 10x from 1K to 10K during red dots. Or in 2021, Bitcoin pumps 3x from 20K to 60K during red dots. So as you can see here, let's kind of take it back to 20, back here. You saw yellow dots, and then boom, you see an orange dot. And then over here, same thing. There's not many yellow dots. There's 2 of them, right? And then boom, popping up. Same thing back here, yellow dots too. We saw our first our first real yellow dot here, which basically means red dots are coming. And so what this means, this is the relative strength index. That's what these red dots mean. The further we get in RSI, the more powerful the jumps are. Are we about to enter these red dots? And if so, we're going to get another yellow dot next, or do you think it goes right into red?
It's gonna be very interesting to see how this plays out, right? Because that looks to be the first one. But there was also one in the middle, it looks like right there too. That's weird.
Yeah.
But that was February, right? Like whenever like
Yep.
things popped off from the ETF. So you know, people say, oh, people always say this time it's different. It is a little bit different. I mean, like you can't see really that in the previous cycles, right?
Nope.
But you know, we might have one more and then a red, but you know, with December being my pick to be, it might not hit as much percent gain because you know the previous month in October wasn't that great, right? November just was amazing. But I think it's going to be very, very impactful, you know. So we're going to see some numbers that like some people probably don't expect, right? So maybe like the 120, the 115, 120, 125. Who knows how high it gets? I know that seems extra bullish, but yeah. So the red dot, I wouldn't be surprised. Either way, if we get the next dot be a red one with a hyper jump, or if we get one more yellow, that's okay too. Because it, you know, we know what's coming after that for sure.
100%. And I actually went back and looked. I had some time. So this yellow dot over here that's November. These are monthly dots, and that's December. That's November. That's December. I think we're going to see. So this is December, January, February, March, and then April. And then you see May with a dip here. I think we're going to get the same thing. I'm thinking we're going to get January, February, March, April, May, maybe a dip before the next leg up.
Yeah, and we also might just get an orange one because it kind of, you know, I like how this chart works because it's kind of a hybrid, right? Because it's that RSI is like right in between both. So we'll see.
Yep. All right, it's kind of getting to the first thing here. U.S. government sends 10,000 Bitcoin. It's actually ended up being 20,000 Bitcoin. They sent another 10,000 after that to Coinbase. It's official that it was a Coinbase wallet. Is this administration trying to sabotage the next administration's plans here, and or they just don't care? They're just going to do what they're going to do until the next administration comes alive.
Yeah, I really don't know, but I think that people are probably trying to track this Bitcoin and the funds and stuff, you know what I mean? So the ones that might be going into the next administration. So I think they're probably treading very carefully here. We did hear that, you know, from Anthony Blinken that like they're going to try to send every single dollar overseas, right? So with that being said, that's what the first thing I thought about. Okay, they're trying to sell Bitcoin to send overseas, right? But again, there's professional trackers with this, right? Once they offboard it from Coinbase, where does it go next and all that stuff. So I think it might be a little bit harder because people are really hyper focused on it. So we'll see. I hope that it's to send to a new address to really start that Bitcoin reserve, but I think that might be thinking too optimistically right now.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I just think that they're going to dump it all probably by January. They're going to make sure they have the funding for everything they need funding for the people that aren't going to get no more. Right. So, you know, I think everyone knows who I'm talking about there. But, you know, it is what it is. It doesn't matter. None of this matters right now. The next, you know, month and a half, it doesn't matter what they do because everything's going to get fixed. It just sucks that as a country, as someone who's a U.S. citizen, we're going to have to buy back more expensive. So we're going to sell at, you know, 96,000, but we're going to have to buy back at 140, 150. So, but it is what it is.
But I want to say one thing. Yesterday, whenever that was reported, that it was, it might have been 2 days ago. I'm not sure. But anyways, when it was reported, there was a scare sell down. But even this morning, I mean, Bitcoin got sold down to 93,000, and look how quickly it gets bought back up. We're at 95,500, right? So I think it's going to be very, very hard to sustain dumps. You know, probably for the next month and a half or so, right? And then maybe there might be a decent one after we've crossed over a pretty, you know, big new milestone for all-time high. I could see like a substantial dump maybe in like January, mid-January or something like that. But other than that, like these dumps that people are trying to attempt in December, the entire globe is too bullish on Bitcoin for those to sustain.
Yeah, 100% agree. This isn't news, but this is just something I want to put out there for you guys who are traders, because CPI, Consumer Price Index, is December 11th. That's next Wednesday. That's a week from tomorrow. So just keep an eye on that. The total cryptocurrency market cap increased over $1 trillion in November. Forecasters are saying this go to another $1 trillion in December, potentially. How do you feel about that? $1 trillion month after $1 trillion month. And what do you think about November being the first ever $1 trillion month?
Yeah, that's huge. A lot of that's Bitcoin. A lot of that's Bitcoin, right? But yeah, other like I said, blue chips or tokens that are teetering on the blue chip kind of line have helped with that as well. With the XRP, Cardano, Solana had a little bit more of a push up, like I would say, like maybe 3 weeks ago, about a month ago. But they're all starting to slowly contribute. But Bitcoin obviously is the largest contributor of this right now. So, and it's going to contribute more in December. So.
You have to remember brand new tokens coming alive like Peanut, right? With $1 billion market cap out of nowhere. But then you have to remember too, like we saw Whiff and Pepe get put on Robinhood. When Robinhood lists you, I mean, you gained billions of dollars in new value, and potentially going forward even more than that. So I just think that these exchanges adding new tokens is huge for the market caps of tokens, because now it's easy access to normies, right? The normie who buys Doge, the normie who buys GameStop, they now have access to more and more coins. And I feel like Robinhood and Coinbase haven't even listed 10% of what they're probably going to list in the next 6 months.
I agree. I think the Robinhood ones are really crucial, and who knows? Maybe somebody like Cash App gets into this game too a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll see.
He's too maxi.
Yeah. Is he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dorsey.
Dorsey.
I don't even want to say his name.
Yeah.
He who shall not be named.
He could add runes though. What if Cash App becomes a Bitcoin?
Well, no, dude, like he hates runes, man. Like he finances ocean mining, right? Like, Luke Dash Jr. is probably his brother.
That's true.
It kind of looks like they could be brothers, dude. Like if you look at their faces.
Yeah. Do you think they eat cats together?
Oh, maybe.
Coinbase now allows users to purchase cryptocurrency with Apple Pay. How freaking huge is this, dude?
This is huge. Huge. Now this is big, man. Apple is on board, bro. And this is, I expect to see more and more of this mainstream rails, mainstream fintech getting involved with crypto now. It's actually going to eventually make crypto a safer place, because these huge fintech players are going to make sure that they're not going to be able to get their customers robbed and stuff like that. So this is actually good. I know people are like, oh, decentralize everything, but at some point when things go mainstream, you got to have protections, and I think that this is the first step to that.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree more. Imagine now just going over there and just buying Bitcoin with the one button click, right? Because that's how Apple Pay works on my phone. But boop, done. I just bought Bitcoin.
But the biggest,
more and more.
The biggest thing I want to say is that before you couldn't use your credit cards for Coinbase, but now you kind of can, right? Because like if you use Apple Pay, I mean, that changes the game.
Yeah. Yep. And that's kind of what MoonPay is doing, right? They're doing the same exact thing. So people are going, I might have to open up a couple credit cards and buy some Bitcoin.
Don't earn your credit. You'll be able to pay it all off.
Yeah, man. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong said the exchange has cut ties with law firms employing former SEC officials. He accuses of trying to unlawfully kill the crypto industry. So anybody who's because the whole SEC is probably going to they're going to step down or leave depending on how they feel about the next administration. Gary is one of them. So Brian Armstrong is saying anyone who hires Gary, he will cut ties with, or anyone else from that administration who took part in unlawfully killing the crypto industry. We're trying to.
So did I not tell you? Because you and I had a little bit of a debate on this. You thought that Gary would be able to find a job within the industry, and I said I don't think he will, because he's going to get shunned. There's one company or one subset group of companies that might bring him in, but even them, and I'm talking about the 222 ISO companies, like the XRPs, the XLMs, the Hedera hash graphs, because they're really kind of like this corporate / institutional government friendly group of cryptos, right? That group might bring them in, but anything else I don't think is going to touch them.
I can see you know, the scumbags Garlinghouse and then bringing him in there at XRP just because there's scum already, and scum usually attracts more scum when you leave it there. So but there's rumors that he could take over Jamie Dimon's spot at JP Morgan when JP Dimon retires as well. So yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah. But think about this though. Even those guys might not, you know, bring him on the 222 ISO guys because he's not going to have the same connections that he had before. You know, with the new SEC, it's going to be completely different mindset, all that stuff. So,
yep, I agree. You know, before you would hire him because he knew the law, right? He knew the inner workings and what other
created
companies
the
were doing.
law.
He created it pretty much. Well, he destroyed, you know, what we had, and then created this new system that we're trying to play in now, which only regulates nothing. So
nothing and everything at the same time.
Michael Saylor says his 3-minute Bitcoin presentation for Microsoft board meeting wasn't just for Microsoft shareholders; it was for every company in the world. And let me show you. How do you feel about it only being 2 minutes? And this was the whole thing. Right, you guys can't hear it, but like this was the whole. This is it. This is the entire what I just showed you. 2 minutes and 25 seconds was the entire presentation.
I wonder how many slides he had on that because it looks like the first one.
Go back. Let me see.
It looked like the first one.
Stop.
Can you scroll to the start of the video?
Yeah. It's just him talking.
Okay, go to the first time it shows like a slide.
Okay.
Oh, right there. Okay, so he had more than one because that looks different than the other one. But hey, he's probably like, I'm Michael Saylor, bit. You know what I mean? It's like, do I need to say anything else? Look what I turned, you know, MicroStrategy into. I don't know. You know, he probably has this confidence about him that he can do that.
He had a final statement. His last words before he left stage were, Microsoft could add trillions to its market cap by investing in Bitcoin. That was the mic drop moment at this.
Ooh, that would be crazy.
Do you think he can? Do you think it's possible? Trillions of dollars? I mean, how much you got to put in? We got to put in 500 million or 500 billion. The double.
I read this headline on X that said Bill Gates could have been a trillionaire, like I think like last year or 2 years ago, because he had like 30-something% stake in Microsoft, but he sold it early. So I think he's worth like 100 billion. So he's not complaining, but he could have been the first trillionaire. So but anyways, that's just a little side fact there. Do I think this could happen? Absolutely. I think it could, especially if Bitcoin hits the targets that people think it's going to hit in 5-10 years, being over $1 million, right? Multiple $1 million. So yeah, why wouldn't it?
Yeah, I agree. Hong Kong to waive tax on crypto gains for sophisticated investors. I don't understand why you got to be sophisticated to crypto gains or crypto gains.
The other ones need it more than that.
I know. But this is another step in the right direction. I think, you know, this is something that is going to happen because crypto gains, I mean, be honest, dude, crypto gains is impossible to track sometimes. Like I couldn't sift through all this. I'd have to pay, you know, millions of dollars, or not millions of dollars. I'd have to pay like thousands of dollars to someone out there to do it for me, right? Like it just sucks. Like you know, especially if you're trying to do it like on point in the right way. There's no point in trying to do this because it's just too hard. So I just think that this is probably the right way to go for this anyway.
Yeah, they're probably more focused on them, you know, reporting how much they earned on a national level, federal, whatever they call it in CCP. But because CCP actually runs Hong Kong in terms of a government level entity, and so and that's why I think they put the sophisticated investors in there because they're like, look, we'll get like a big chunk. We don't need to like capital gains tax them. We'll just tax them on their earnings as a regular percentage because we're going to get a good amount anyways. So maybe that's the approach here. So
I mean, the way this is written out though, they're going to all crypto gains, not just, you know, so I mean, that's what I'm reading. Waive tax on crypto gains, period. Not so. I mean, you make
but if that's your income though, is my point. Like, you know, if you have no if that is your if that's your primary income, then because there's two ways to tax crypto, right? Especially in America, they probably found more ways to do it.
Yeah, I know.
But you know, you got the capital gains tax, and then you got your income tax, right? And so I think that's what they're saying is that you only have to pay the 20% of income tax, which is that I do that all day if that the US does that. You You know,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
makes sense. Aviation company reveals plan to mine Bitcoin on airplanes. Another 760 billion industry is coming to Bitcoin. Mining Bitcoin on airplanes. What the hell is going on, dude?
Yeah,
Wild.
I thought about this because I was like,
Yeah.
wow, man, they're just trying to invent new creative ways to be able to create monetary value with, you know,
Yeah.
creating Bitcoin. And there was a couple conversations that I saw yesterday and the day before of like, who's that guy that was like, it's that black guy that was early on Bitcoin. He would do like videos for people saying just buy $1 of Bitcoin right now.
Da Vinci.
Okay, Da Vinci. Yeah, so he was interviewing some guy from XRP that was like a lead developer, and the lead developer was explaining to him why XRP will be more valuable than Bitcoin one day. And this made me think about like Bitcoin, could it ever fade in the background? But I was looking at like even XRP, all these other chains that have like DeFi, everything is like paired with Bitcoin across the board. Doesn't matter if you're EVM chain or if you're another, if you have DeFi, you have Bitcoin paired to it. So I believe that we'll continually see more innovative ways, and Bitcoin will never fade in the background, dude. It's like it's reached this level of achievement to where it's just in everybody's minds of its monetary value is rare and valuable, right? It's high value. So that's why it's not about the tech, it's not about any of that stuff. It's about the asset itself and the value and rarity and how people perceive it in society. And so I think we're going to see more stuff than this. Like eventually, maybe you're going to have a Bitcoin mining toaster and stuff like that. Who knows? You know.
Every time you put them toast, you earn some sats. I'm down, dude. I'll make toast all day. But but let's just say like someone like Delta or someone big who airplanes just fly constantly through the night, through the day, all day long. They can potentially earn another $100 million a year by mining Bitcoin.
Yeah,
because that's a lot of mining power. And you're gonna see like these satellites and stuff or whatever, something that brings in energy while the plane's riding on all these airplanes, and in the back you're gonna see a bunch of ASICs in the cargo area, right?
I don't know if I'd feel good about that, dude. Like it's gonna take most of the power of the plane. Like,
well, no,
if it goes down.
as the plane's flying, it's gaining energy.
Okay, so through like I was thinking about that too. Maybe they could do like solar, maybe they do like wind or like momentum energy.
I mean, wind energy alone, from like that's free energy. So they're spending zero. They're just buying the miners.
That makes sense.
To think about. BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF now holds over $500,000 worth $47 billion. They are halfway to Satoshi. Do they get to Satoshi next year? Do they get to the million Bitcoin?
I think so.
Yeah. Oof.
I'm not sure if it's next year.
I don't feel comfortable with
but
that
eventually I think so. I know, right?
All right. Time to get into the Bitcoin price action brought to you by the great guys at BitPerp. BitPerp is going to be the leading leverage trading platform in the entire Bitcoin ecosystem. You're going to be able to trade all your fun memes on leverage, 10x, 20x. Be safe with it, but have fun as well. You know, throw $100 in there, put it on 50x leverage, but just know you are gambling. But you know, you can have fun. I mean, that's the big part about taking leverage. I mean, you can go with 1-2x and feel really comfortable just holding Bitcoin and not really having to deleverage into other assets to get more X's. So this kind of gives you that aspect with Bitcoin. But if you want to go even crazier, you can be able to potentially a $1 billion cat, take leverage on that, and Mr. Yen and many, many others from L1 and L2. It's going to be exciting. BitPerp, they are going to be on the Spider chain. I'm just going to call it that. What is it? By
Botonics.
I'm gonna write it on my computer this time. They're gonna be on Botonics. Their paper trading contest is starting again. It'll just be on Botonics, but then eventually, when they go live, they're gonna be on multiple chains. Hemi is one of them as well. We're gonna actually reach out to Hemi and see if we can get them on the show, kind of understanding what they're building over there on their L2. But we're really excited for BitPerp, and this is the price action.
Yes. And before we get into the Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by BitPerp, if you're on the YouTube side, please smash that like for us. It helps a ton. And subscribe to the channel so you're ready for when the Bitcoin ecosystem explodes. And then on the X side, guys, also, if you wouldn't mind, like this space and then share it if you wouldn't mind so we can onboard and educate as many people as possible. Let's go ahead and jump into the Bitcoin price action here. See, okay, we got the hour chart brought to you guys by BitPerp here. You can see, man, we had a sell down that was starting at 2 a.m. What was it, 2 a.m. yesterday, right? And then we did bounce back a bit, and then it really went down to like 93, 700. But we've had a good rebound here, right? A good rebound. We're showing that we've come out of, well, we've shown that we have started, I'll say this, a little bit of buy pressure because the MACD right here, I'm not super confident in what I'm seeing until I see like a pretty large candle, at least the second candle being decently bigger than that first one. You know, the blue and orange lines are not really that far from each other. So this is kind of indecisiveness is what I'm seeing from this on the hour chart, at least for now. On the stochastics, it's a little bit more clear in terms of coming out of oversold. Second half of today, probably try to knock back on 96,000. And then the way that Bitcoin has worked since really, I would say like November, once it started getting really aggressive, is that like it can, once it sells down, it will change like that, and then it'll get hyper aggressive, get us back to 97,000. You know, so it's really hard to kind of you know, determine or forecast, I should say, what's going to happen for the second half of today. But what I'm seeing from these indicators, I would say probably, you know, inch back to 96,000, maybe 96.5, unless there's, you know, aggressive buy pressure popping back in, which can happen at any moment, as we have learned this past month. On the 8-hour chart, also a little bit of indecisiveness. You know, we kind of barely came out of, not even really coming out. I would say we didn't come out of sell pressure because that green tiny candle, to me on the MACD, that doesn't count. But we have actually kind of formed a little bit of more strength in the sell pressure here. We'll see. It's not like how it was back here, but you can see, you know, it's getting a little bit bigger on each candle. This doesn't give me any type of confidence that it's going to continue, you know, really strong selling down though. You know, I'd like to see here in the next 8-hour candle to see what happens and see if we kind of reverse things. But we did just get into oversold, so might be hanging out here for a couple days on the 8-hour chart. For the next week, you know, if it would kind of, you know, bounce back and forth with a little bit of downtrend, it's probably going to be this week, because I think a lot of us are counting on that December 10th date of, you know, Microsoft having that final vote if they're going to buy Bitcoin, and then also you know, some other catalysts that could be happening around that time. For Bitcoin specifically, it's really that Microsoft vote, and it seems like things are pointing towards a yes, but we'll see. But that is what I'm seeing, guys, for the Bitcoin price action for today and for this upcoming week.
Yeah, man. All right. Let's kind of get into the roll call here. Let's see who's here. First is first. So, guys, YouTube did kill the graveyard last night.
Why did they do that?
Wasn't able. I don't know. But we did have a couple things or whatever. Yeah, I don't. Sorry, guys, but if you did put a comment in there, put it in again, because I gotta get in there and start starting them in the night. That way I can have them for the morning. But first is first, and we got Bitmap Capital in there with a bunch of money bags. Bitmap Capital, we appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for being a part of roll call today, and today's your day. Steamy J at the #2 spot. Shout out to Steamy J. It's my guy with the Billy Cat glasses. We got no. Rise and shine, Degents, my guy. Sixes. Rumor mill is saying 35 diamonds equals 1 Emmy. Yes, we have actually something with that in the banners for later as well. Patty Poo is here, the Bitcoin machine himself. Shout out to Patty Poo. ASAP Benji is in the building. Mats is here. Tim Baker, AOD Art, another one of our mods. Appreciate you. Nagi is here. Steve Verse was in our space last night.
Yep.
You guys should have been there. It was fun. It was exciting. Got to talk to Jeff. BTC.fun was there, but they
were super swamped getting ready for this launch, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, it's exciting.
We run a space for him and he doesn't show. Oh, he shows up, but he's just not available. But it's all good. Mats is here, Chain Watchers here. Golden, I think it's your first time joining the show. He says, "Hey Poppy, shout out to you, my friend. Thank you for making a roll call." I Walk Alone is here. Says GM. Hope everyone is having a great day. Smash that like button, share. And then my man Yasher comes in with greetings, people. Shout out to Yasher. EF is here. Shout out to EF. I think it's your first time making roll call as well. Thank you so much for being here.
Welcome.
Crypto Blitzo is in the building. You're becoming an everydayer now. Appreciate you. Crypto Mona is here. And then Yasher, I guess we'll save that for a little bit. Choda is here. Glasshopper is here. Ooh. Edric Josh is here. Should I buy XRP? No. And that is financial. No, I'm just kidding. Paywan is here. Cat app. What is Cat app? Am I missing something?
Maybe Cat 20 app.
More. Maybe. Kal-El, Superman himself is here. Guys, Yasher says, guys, imagine a nuclear submarine start using its nuclear. Holy crap. Power to mine Bitcoin underwater. It's underwater, so no cooling. Holy crap, dude. I didn't even think about that. Next
nuclear
step,
power hasn't been
miners.
It hasn't been tapped into for mining, I don't think much. And a lot of people actually like nuclear power energy in terms of like, it's actually not, it's very efficient, right? So I think we might start to see more of that.
What about like a satellite miner? A miner that's actually a satellite that's sitting in front of the sun and just mining all day. I mean, dude, right? Like, get close enough to where it doesn't like.
You don't think Elon's already doing that? Come on, that dude is probably mining so much Bitcoin
mining
right now.
Dogecoin,
merge mining.
Oh man! All right. Let's get to the first topic and the show title today. Bitcoin runes down big. Is it time to buy? Yagobi, is it time to buy the runes right now, my friend?
I think it is time to buy specific runes, right?
Yeah.
Not financial advice. I'm always going to go first to the one that I think. I mean, like, obviously, my heart is connected to $1 billion cap, but I mean, look at it's under 100 million for the you know. I think it ticked under 100 million 2 days ago or something like that, but it was at the all-time high. I think it was like 155. Around there, we know it's going back. And again, my point about the holder count, look at the holder count, 13,722, still keeping that pace of 2,000. It used to be right at 2,000 more than pups. Now it's 2,000, almost 100. So it's continually growing. But you got to really look at, in my opinion, this is my opinion only, is what runes have the foundation and have been around for a while, and we know that holder count is growing. So obviously BDC to me is one of those. Pups has rebounded their market cap in the short period of time of the past couple of days pretty well. You know, it was like right at 200 million. Now it's 225. So that's looking good. Cypher Genesis is still, I'm kind of like, but yeah, those are the ones right off the bat that I'm noticing, you know, that I would take a good serious look at. What about you?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. You know, Dog Go to the Moon, I think, is probably your safest bet. And then Pups World Peace, you know, they got $17 million in treasury, right? What are they going to do with this money? But like they can't make an ordinal collection because they already got one. they can't make a BRC20 because they already had one. Like,
please don't make an ordinal collection.
But like, what else are they going to do? Like, what else can they do besides like pay to get these listed on exchanges? But we know, because we've talked to really smart people in the space, but once you pay for an exchange listing, a lot of times the bigger ones don't pick you up. So it's not even always a smart move to go.
Yeah, I think that depends, right? I think that's the standard rule. But I think if you're like a chain and like you have community, that's different. I think centralized exchanges will always pay attention to chains. But in terms of like actual projects, yeah, I agree. Like you don't want to like try to just force your way into things by just paying. So I wouldn't utilize that for that. What I would utilize it for is obviously if Binance comes knocking and says, you know, hey, we need $5 million for this and we'll list you tomorrow, they're going to do that. I think that's a no-brainer. But you know, I would actually take a little bit of the Shiba approach that they did back in 2021. When they got huge, they kind of had this like treasury and they started building, and they have Shiba Swap and stuff like that, right? So maybe try to build something innovative in the space to help the space and make it fun. Obviously, that's a heavy lift because you got to be creative and figure out what you're doing, get a dev team and all that stuff. But $17 million can be stretched a long way.
But do we need Pup Swap? Do we need that?
Would it be cool?
Would
it be cool? Would it be cool?
If it was an arch or you know, or even build somewhere else.
Tell me
on
that. Tell
Maroon
me
or-
that if Pups developed a swap on Arch or whatever another kind of this prover network style thing that's happening with Bitcoin, that their community would not use it and support it.
Yeah, but Saturn already has that first mover advantage, right?
I agree with that, but I'm just saying, if Farmer Joe came out and said, "Pups trade here, you'll get this benefit," Pups are gonna go there. That's just
what if they made their own moon pay?
that would be cool.
You know, a moon pay
Yes.
for runes, or that would
Something
be
that's
you
not
know,
something that's not there necessarily. But you get what I'm saying though. It's like
100%.
okay, you know, you have $17 million. Let's make our mark. Let's extend our brand and create something useful in this space. So
100%. Couldn't agree more. $1 Billion Cat down 13%. Cypher Genesis down 33%. You said you were on the fence with this one. What would make you get off the fence and potentially maybe DCA into this? Is there anything?
So I probably would take a look. I would roll some dice and take a risk with this right now. I probably wouldn't take too much of a risk. Let's say the next runes run, it gets back to where it was and then some, like, you know, so it was at like 45 million, I think, around there, 40 million.
Yeah.
Let's say it gets to 75. At that point, I'm in. I feel like, okay, Butoshi has proven that he's going to continually work on this. The community feels like this thing is here to stay. It's ran twice with 2 run-ups, and it has utility with the AI approach to it. I like, so a little bit of risk here. It runs again, gets to like 70 million, 75 million, pulls back maybe to 60. I'll probably take some more risk at that point.
Love it. Yeah. All right, we got a new one here. Mark's friend Monkey. What?
Yeah.
Let's just get into real ones. Gizmo, the imaginary kitten. Again, this is a pup derivative, kind of. This is Gizmo was in the puppet ordinal collection. He was like a little, you know, one of the, what do they call, attributes, I guess you would say, one of the things that are in the collection. What do you think about Gizmo right now? A $27 million market cap, down 12% on the 7-day. Is this a buy?
Oh, I think so. It has 7,201 holders, so that's solid. It has more than just Farmer Joe. It has some other people that, you know, if it wasn't a bull run, I probably wouldn't. But because we are going into this, you know, bull run in the Bitcoin ecosystem, will get hyper aggressive and explode. I'll place my bets with this one and some of those people that are behind it. I'm getting out as soon as this thing, you know, we're talking in spring. If this thing gets to like 100 million plus, I'm probably getting out of that. But I think I'd roll my dice there because, you know, you do have a decent holder count. You have some people that can make some moves, but also will dump on you. So that you got to be prepared for that. So yeah, I'd probably roll my dice, you know, with a medium risk size here. What about you?
Yeah, I'd actually go in on this. I just feel like once you see, you know, this pups really start to move again, that is what this brings up. This is the, you know, that brings up the entire tide, right? This brings up the entire ocean. It's crazy what happens. But let's just say pups gets back to 300 million. You could see Gizmo back at 70, 60 million potentially. I mean, I don't really know. I know this is destroying our portfolio. I don't know if you've seen it, guys. If you guys don't know, we have a members only portfolio. If you are a member, go check those videos. But I saw it. It was like one of our biggest losers now, or something like that in the portfolio.
Yeah,
I
saw
like
it. I saw it. But this was yesterday because it was lower than where it is now.
It is, yeah.
You know, and so this is a little bit of a bounce back. You know, getting back to 30 million, I think, is a good bounce back for it. But yeah, I don't think it's ever gotten to 70. I think the highest was like 60, maybe. But maybe it did.
68. I thought it hit 70. Yeah. All right. Arsic Genesis Rune. This is one of people are saying you're not bullish enough on. I've seen that on the timeline a bunch of times. If you know, we were told they were building. We were told that a lot of things was happening with this. What do you think about Arsic Genesis? And before you answer that, he had a comment in here from High Up Man. Rune sucks so bad though. It really sucks not to be able to sell even for a loss. You're just stuck. I mean, it depends what runes you have, right? Like if you have the top 3 runes, you're never stuck. There's always volume with them daily, so or hourly, secondly. So there's always volume. But any comment to this comment?
Yeah, I think you just made up that word secondly, but I like it. I want to use it. Yeah, so I feel you, bro. Look, it's not just runes. BRC20s were like this as well. That's why I think like this approach with using Merlin chain and BTC.fun is gonna help, because it's gonna be a BRC20 on layer 1 that the airdrop gets. So there's gonna be a great experience, I think, with this. But I will say this, high up man. First, Shizzy's right. It depends on what runes you get. That's why it's very important for you to really select what you get into.
Yeah.
And that's why some of the best traders, actually the ones that like do well over here, they have like a really good short-term strategy for new runes. So, like let's say a rune gets hype. A lot of these people are taking their profit at 3, 5, 10x max, and they're doing it on a short-term time frame, because out of everything, like the way that the marketplaces work here, you can easily get stuck in something that you thought was going to moon, and it did happen not to. It just had a good pump in the beginning. So, this is not financial advice to anybody, but having a good kind of short-term strategy with runes, I think is necessary, right? Like getting that 3x, being satisfied with that, getting that 6x, anything over 10, unless it happens within like the first day, it's risky, very risky. So that's why also you look back and you see some of these established runes, and it's okay to get into those when they pull back, because they've been around for a while. The demand's there, the community's there. And so that's the first part. The second part is there are scaling solutions that are here, but there's also new ones that are coming with like Arch Network and Saturn, which is going to be a DEX for runes, and you won't have to bridge using your Unisat wallet or anything like that. So it's gonna feel extremely native. So once that comes, it's gonna be more liquid to where you can get in and out. So if you have some that are solid and you just don't want to give them up for that floor price, I would say just stick it out a little bit longer for these new solutions to come, or centralized exchanges to pick them up, because we do think that centralized exchanges will pick up the big ones.
And that's one thing I've noticed too, was once you the longer you go, a lot of these come back, right? So you'll be shocked. Like I have some runes that are like pretty much worth like $30, $40, $60, but I'm not dumping them, because there's gonna be a day where I wake up like, oh wow, that ran, and I have it, and I'm gonna sell it I'm gonna sell the peanuts while the circus is in town. And I just think in that situations, maybe it's probably a good job just holding, because they're always come back. I remember I bought I think it was what's that guy's name, Jerome Powell, like Jerome Pumpwell, and I bought it for like $100, and it went down to like $30, $20, and then out of nowhere it shot up to I had about $300-$400 in it, and I sold it, right? But then the next day it dropped back down. So if you pay attention, you could really just wait and hold, because a lot of times they do come back.
Yeah. And right now there's this weird, we'll get into it a little bit later, but kind of I don't want to say shift in liquidity, but I guess like West is more bullish on runes, and the East is more bullish on BRC20s. And with us being in the West, we didn't even realize it until we looked at the volume the other day. And so it's going to be interesting. I think both are going to succeed, but what the demand is going to be created by these centralized exchanges is going to be really the determining factor. And who knows, maybe Coinbase supports runes, Binance supports more BRC20s, and then you have the East and West and both succeed.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, let's see who wins. But yeah, our guy Yasher, he's a disagree, man. It's a huge volume. Even now that it's down, also the big ones, you can swap them. Yeah, and the swap, right? So eventually Magic Eden's going to bring the swap in. Great job, Yasher, because I totally forgot about that. But potentially, if there is enough selling orders and buying orders, potentially, let's just say the top 20 runes could be in the swap and instant sells.
Well, there is a swap right now where you can buy and sell.
Well, it's not the top 20, right? It's like the top 4 or 5. I think you can buy, but my point is selling.
You can sell too on the swap. Actually, you just got to switch
but
it.
It's like the top 3, the top 4. There's no order, there's no buy orders sitting for a lot of the ones that are down. Or maybe they are. Maybe they're just like super cheap.
And that's the thing is the way the swap works right now.
Yeah.
You know, you're just going to get the best available. But I agree. You know, look, everybody knows that is the one thing, major thing that is missing from the Bitcoin fungible token ecosystem is on layer one is the liquidity, instant liquidity. That's a problem, right? Like, and so they're trying to find so many different solutions for this, like splitting up ordering books and stuff like that. But I think at the end of the day, it's like, let's get some of these on Coinbase. Let's get some of these on Binance. And then that changes the game. And then like the other solutions will come.
There is a solution, right? So I've been messing around on Saturn. And guys, this is coming. And it's been really nice. So I've been kind of being an a-hole. So I just go in, right? And I just, because you can keep minting. So I'll just mint like 10K. Let me put in my thing here. But yeah,
4, 5,
I'll
6,
put in
7,
like,
8, 9, 8.
yep. So I'll just keep minting and I'll steal the whole LP pool like an a.
Why? They got to be able to test, bro.
But then I'll add it back. Because I want to be the person who leads the L people. So I'll just take out because look, you can just keep doing this. You can keep minting. And I don't suggest doing this because there's no advantage. But then I'll do that and I'll swap it. Or I'll come over here and it's instantly in here if I go to that rune that I just did. And I probably should be showing this, but it's been fun because then I become like the leader and I'm getting like I have like 2% of the entire pool.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
So,
I mean, this is good. This is good for high up, man, to kind of see this, and you can
Yeah.
see that. Look, there's liquidity pools and stuff that are coming for all these runes. So
this is testnet, right? Let's just say I just mined 200,000 of these. So I'll just put, I'll put 100,000 up. And it's worth like $260. I'm going to submit. And guys, right now I'm technically farming the Saturn token and the Arch token by messing with this. I didn't even mean to show this. This is just something that just came up as a solution. So it felt so we are getting this sometimes. I feel like they're kind of really working on the bugs here. So you're probably going to get this again. But it was working great last night. I hope I didn't break it. Yeah, it's not working right now. But it was definitely working last night.
That's so funny because Yasher just commented and said it's swap sometimes works, sometimes not.
Yeah.
So like, did you? And we can ask them on Thursday because we're gonna have, I believe, Hex from Saturn back on Thursday as well. But have you figured out like what's the reason for the errors and stuff when you stress test it that much?
Yeah, I think the problem is the validators. I just don't think I think Solana has this problem too when they get too crazy over there. The validators just get so backed up. Over here with Bitcoin, I mean, it's the miners are always there, right? The miners, there's no stopping them. They're just there. But on the smaller chains that don't have, let's just say Arch has like 9 validators, right? They probably don't have a lot.
Well, for testnet specifically too, probably.
Exactly. So I just think the testnets get backed up and then it just causes errors. And I think like some of these transactions have to go through. You got to remember they're using 10-minute Bitcoin blocks. So yeah, you're rolling them up, but there's probably a limit per block that you can put. So they're probably just working out the kinks and stuff, and we can definitely get this answered on Thursday for Arch Thursdays. So tune in this Thursday, guys. We're gonna have Maestro, who is building their version of Etherscan. That's going to be really interesting. We got Saturn on again, who's building their swap, and then Arch, who's building the entire network of validators. We'll have them on Thursday. Really excited to kind of learn more about that, but that's definitely a question that we'll ask. But I did have a question, and then we went on a giant rant into something else, which is fun. But get back to this. RSIC, do they come out with something, or is BitGod joining the team and it's going to go to zero, just like OXPT?
Well, the thing about RSIC that people are sleeping on, including us, is that there is a rune on a tier 1 centralized exchange, and it is RSIC. RSIC got listed on OKX like right off the bat. It's so weird to me that like OKX like brought them on. Did they pay for it? Is there a connection there? So like if you pay for OKX, then are you kind of not blacklisted, because obviously they can always bring you on, but like, are you looked at differently because OKX is probably at the bottom of that tier 1, but it's worked its way there, I think.
Yeah, I do think that they screwed themselves from bigger goals, but you're being traded. You have the most volume probably on all the exchanges because you're the only one listed, right? In OKX. And what they're doing right now, they're kind of like playing that as a Bitcoin leverage play. the same as Ordi and Sats. So you can see, because I followed on my trading screen, and it definitely moves. You know, it definitely is up a lot and then down a lot depending on the way Bitcoin goes, but it really follows Bitcoin.
Yeah.
We got a comment here from Happy. He says Crypto Skulls OG ETH PFP collection has a rune coin it created April 29th, and it was a no pre-mine, no pre-allocation, and also the first free to mint token from a legendary PFP collection. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I know the Crypto Skulls. I remember we were looking at that a while ago. It's that's not the same project as Nox, right? It's different.
No, that's
He's Skull
different.
X.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crypto Skulls is from ETH. I think
Yeah.
that's Leonidas's PFP.
Oh yeah. Happy does say that. He says, dog favorite PFP collection. Look, yeah, I'll take a look at that. Thank you. It's cool. And then Ren Storm says, was there a whitelist for Saturn? No, anyone could join. Just go to Saturn. Just go to their Twitter. Their website's there. That's the safest bet for when you guys are looking for websites. So it's good. It's good practice. Just go to Saturn's official Twitter, and you get the link from their site. Just make sure it's the official one, obviously. But you guys are smarter than that. So. All right. So before we kind of leave this, is there anything on here that could 1000x? Would you say could Lobo let's just say dog gets to 4 billion? Could Lobo get to, I don't know, 2 billion? That'd be 100x.
I don't think so. Not Lobo.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna be something that like is in that new kind of trading environment that's
Okay.
faster, right? That you can get liquidity going. Those move very fast. Like, you know, when something gets going, you could go to $1 billion market cap within like 7 days, 10 days,
Yeah.
depending on like how aggressive it is. Maybe more than that, but like, you know what I'm saying? But over
Yeah.
here, it's really hard to do that in that short period of time. So I do think it's gonna have to be like, you know, probably in the heading into the spring, like explosion of altcoins and Bitcoin ecosystem assets. Let's say Saturn is trading seamlessly, and people are buying into new runes, right? Or it could also happen on, you know, another like a BTC.fun or something like that. I don't know about the $1 billion market cap on BTC.fun, because like I do think that like the chain token has to be higher. Like we've learned that, right? The chain token has to be higher. So Merlin is at like I think a $200 million market cap or something like that. But it happens. I don't think it happens in this trading environment. It happens in the fast run, the new innovative style.
Yeah, I agree. What about uncommon goods? Can this get to a $600 million market cap?
I do think
4 years from now.
Yeah, 4 years from now, I think it can.
Yeah.
There's a lot of OGs in the Bitcoin ecosystem that are into runes and stuff that are trying to figure out ways to utilize uncommon goods as actually like a currency. You know, maybe utilize it to for mints on a platform or something like that. So I think that's going to be Casey's most successful thing that he touches. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be down the line though. That's going to act like a Bitcoin. I think like, you know, 4 years down the line, people are going to be like, oh crap, you know, I should have bought this back then because it's taken off now. You know, there's going to be a big narrative of uncommon goods supply is going to be capped coming into the next halving, right? That's going to be a big narrative. So,
parent child of Rune Zero. It is, I mean, parent child of, you know, Ordinal Zero. It is Rune Zero. Can this pass dog one day?
It can, but if it is truly looked at that the way I said, but I don't know, man. Like it'd be hard to probably catch it. You know, usually whenever there's a coin that gets a pretty big head start, and it has a big head start on you know, and if it gets past 1 billion, it's going to even be bigger because uncommon goods isn't going to really take off until you know the tokenomics make sense for it to.
And sats per VByte, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big thing as well. Once it gets really expensive to mint these, I mean, the price is nothing. It has to go up. It has. Let's just say we get this back to 70, 80 sats per VByte on a daily basis. Because we've seen that last year. I mean, BRC20s were a big pusher in that. That's not here no more, but it could. And you could see uncommon goods at, you know, potentially 20x, 30x by the end of the cycle. Is that fair?
I think so. Yeah. Even this cycle is going to run. I agree.
Yep, and then kind of fall back. All right, let's get into I have two questions for you here. First one is easy. Mr. Yen sitting at 10 cents. Does Mr. Yen potentially go to $10, which would be 100x?
Oh,
Is that possible?
I don't know about $10, man. That's a lot.
That would only be so a
200
10x would be
200 million.
200 million.
Yeah. If you go to a dollar, that's 21 million.
It's 10x.
That's a yeah. So it can 10x. I thought you said can it 100x. Okay.
100x would go to $10.
Yeah, man, that's really tough.
Yeah.
I could see like in the hype part of, let's say Runes goes crazy, we're trading on Saturn. I could see it between 80 and maybe one passing 100. That's if everything else is going nuts. Dog is at like 2 billion. All these things. The one thing I'll say about Mr. Yen is I will never give up on that man. He's my sensei. It does legitimate business every single day. And he always rises for the occasion in terms of going back to his all-time high or tries to, get back there. So I expect it to get to $1. But that's where I feel comfortable saying right now.
I think Mr. Yen needs a video game where he's like Mario and he's running down and just snapping necks and cashing checks. That's what Mr. Yen does. But my next question here is for you, Bank Nakamoto. This was huge 6 months ago when it first came out. Does this have a chance of coming back, or is this dead?
I wouldn't touch it. I would not touch that with anything, or anything that person that was behind it does anything next, or like just whatever he announces, you got to go in and go out. That 369x, that he is perfect for that. That's it. And I'm out.
Yeah.
Because that's
100%.
just how I feel, man. I got to tell
You're
you how
not
I
bullish
feel.
on his chain?
Nope.
All right. Don't go to the moon rune. So guys, pay attention. This has an extra S there, right? The rune number is different. When you guys are buying stuff like this, make sure you guys don't buy, oh, it's down 98%. Let me just buy. Why is it so cheap? I don't know. I'm just gonna buy. That's a big mistake. Understanding. So this is a problem that a lot of the Chinese were saying was going to happen. They kind of foresaw this way back when. With the 13 characters, and kind of the reason why they don't really play, because this is an easy mistake to someone like that.
Yeah, and look what they did with the market cap. They intentionally hit the supply to be able to create a high market cap to make people fall for it.
Yep. Look at that. I mean, it's insane.
Dirty.
Don't just, guys, be careful. Always check out. Pretend your rune number is your Ethereum contract, right? I would just do that.
That's
go
smart,
get that rune number. Go to Luminex. Go find it on the list of where it was. Grab that, and use that as your Ethereum contract, and then look for it in here. And this obviously is not Rune 2, right, or whatever. I think it's Rune 3. But yeah. So there's a bunch of newcomers that are entering here. We got Obesity MaxiBiz. I'm a fat guy, so I was like, this is pretty cool. But again, it's a derivative. I don't like derivatives, so that's, if it was Obesity something else and it was like original art and stuff, I would probably get into that. It just sounds funny. So
yeah.
Rooney. What about this one? Think this could do? I mean, sitting at 4 million.
Could utility play. I don't know, man. Some of the ones that had these like early rounds and stuff like that, I feel like they were just a little too early for the utility stuff. Obviously something like Liquidium is sustainable because they have a platform and business model that they're making money every day. That's different. I think something like Rooney, I hope so. I did pick some up, so I think Petty is talented, so he can make that thing go. But it's just I just felt like it would be different if they launched the Rooney token like in a month or so.
Yeah, I agree. It's the last one, and we'll kind of get out of here. The Ordzar rune. We're both very bullish on Nakib. We love Nakib. He's one of our favorite people in this entire space. He was on our space last night. He's a good friend of ours. So to take that into what I'm about to say, where I definitely think this could 100x. That's how bullish I am on Ordzar and Nakib.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's kind of in a similar situation as Liquidium. They have a platform that they're making profit every month right now, and like I had a good lunch with them, and like they're making good money, man. Like in terms of like a business model, And those are the ones that with the utility tokens and stuff that you're going to see succeed because they know how to create like a business out of this, right? Like Ordinals bot is another one. You know, they're making it's about like the bottom line and not to screw any of their users because there's people that do that. And that's not really making money as a business. That's just kind of taking money from people. You know what I mean? So
100%. Yep. It's kind of okay. So I have a question for you, Yagobi. Something we talked about last night. I kind of want to bring it on the show as well. But do BRC20s make a comeback? Is it possible for us to see some maybe even half of the madness that we seen a year ago today from BRC20s?
I think there's a decent chance for that, right? And the reason why is because I think the West is really out of touch in terms of information that's coming from the East because if it was up to me, someone would ask me like 2 weeks ago, I would say BRC20s have died down and are kind of gone away. But then you look at the volume and the volume is actually higher recently than RUNES, right? Now there are 2 tokens that are on a ton of there's 2 tokens that are on a ton of exchanges with Ordi and Sats, right? You have them on Binance and you have them on OKX and stuff like that. So that accounts for a lot of the volume. But I think OKX's marketplace is picking up, and then you have this BTC.fund they're doing a 5 ticker BRC20. So this could also ignite it, and it's going to be on layer 1. I mean, we have a strategy to pick some of these up on layer 1 because people are going to sell them for cheap. So I think that we overestimate a little bit of the West's impact a little bit in terms of what the West chooses is the way it goes. No, I don't think that's the case, and I'm learning that right now. The West does have, I think, a very strong impact, but the East has a very strong impact as well, and we're starting to see that with this BRC20 run up.
Yeah, I 100% agree. This token Pi, the Pi symbol has 139 Bitcoin in volume on the 7-day. What is going on with this? I haven't heard anything about this. And freaking what's that? A horseshoe? 41 Bitcoin in volume? This is absolutely insane.
I know, that's nuts. What is going on? Go to the 1 day. 24 hours, yeah. 1 million. Okay, 500,000 for OKXs. What is that?
I don't know.
No. You're like, I'm staying away. So just to give you some context, I'm gonna try to enlighten you a little bit here. So that same symbol in Chinese culture and Buddhist culture is totally different. It means like
it's not Pi.
Yeah. No, okay. Oh no. I'm talking about the other one that you had
the horseshoe.
up there. I think it was actually one of those bad ones that looks like a sideways Chinese star. You know what I'm talking about?
I got you.
So anyways, I thought that's what you were trying to get away from. Anyways, but yeah. This volume actually is really shocking to me. But like we heard from this, right? What was it? Yes, in yesterday's space, was it? Or we were talking about this with some people in meetings, I think, recently yesterday or something about BRC20s kind of picking volume back up.
I know what you mean now.
Yeah, that's an actual like Asian symbol that means something, I think, like towards like peace and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So, totally different. Yeah.
Wawa, which is my favorite convenience store. I don't know why this is here in Philly. We have these things called Wawas. I guess they're kind of like our gas station type of convenience store type of thing. I'm sure you guys have different names for your stuff there, but that's pretty funny. Shut up if you guys ever been to a Wawa. But yeah, so can he come back?
Yeah, I mean, they have come back. What are you talking about? Yeah. Like, look at the volume.
Yeah, but like, they're just weird symbols.
I mean, I think this is kind of just showing us again, like we've known the impact of the East and the Chinese community, but this is reminding us because like I think like the run over in RUNES kind of made us forget about that recently. Yeah. And we're like, yes, we have a relationship with BTV and that Chinese media outlet, actually multiple Asian, South Korean, Japanese, Vietnamese, a bunch of different things, but they're actually kind of more focused on Bitcoin as a whole, like industry and stuff. So like this is more new to me too, you know, seeing this and does it come back in the West though? That's the thing. I don't know, because I feel like the people that do kind of control the narrative in the West, they don't want it back, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that there's not going to be volume in people in the West, like people like Block or people like us, that we don't care if it's East or West. We're going to try to take the opportunities given to us.
Yeah, I 100% agree. All right. Let's kind of get away from this a little bit and kind of get into some topics. So a Solana developer has introduced a tool that allows users to check their ME token. So they're going to let you do this tomorrow anyway, but he jumped the gun here. So according to this tool, holding 41,999 diamonds gets you 1,194 ME, about 35 cents per diamond. Wow,
Yeah.
dude, this is big because I have on this one wallet about 170,000. That's like, 15 grand for
Yeah.
just me. That doesn't sound right.
So for the people that are in the audience that are trying to figure out what their allocation could be, it's very simple. Just divide 41,999 by 1,194, which comes out to be 35.17, and then you want to divide that number or your
your
diamond
diamonds.
count by 3517, and then you'll see how many ME tokens you get. So
yeah,
it's gonna be interesting.
Yep. So I mean, being a U.S. citizen, are you afraid that you will not be able to get your tokens? Or you kind of, because I'm in the kind of the boat where I put myself, because I wasn't able to claim the test token. So I don't think I'm going to be able to claim the other one. So it kind of hurts that I'm going to probably potentially miss out on $15,000 of free money because of my geo, what is it?
Location.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see them doing that, man, because there's so many big players over here that would miss out on so much that there would be a bunch of FUD. There'd be so much FUD, I think, that would come out, and people would be like, protesting and not saying, we shouldn't use ME, because it's like a big stimulus, a big stimulus. A lot of people can get $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 from this, more possibly, depending on how big it is, but. I don't know. I was told from someone in the US that, if you do have VPN, put El Salvador on there, and it worked for the test token. So maybe try that.
Yeah, I did it from Amsterdam or Switzerland, and it didn't work for me. But I didn't try hard either, because I was like, yeah, whatever, screw it, and I just kind of left it. So I definitely got to try harder for that. So here you go. Question for you. Which Ordinal collection has the strongest community? So I'm not judging the price action. I'm not judging anything else. What Ordinal collection do you think has the strongest community behind it?
I mean, still to this day, it's going to be puppets, but they have gotten weaker. But I mean, they were so overwhelmingly strong that like they're still in the lead. I think like true like tightness and connecting to each other. I would there's multiple that could fall into that bucket. I think the Nookies are one for sure.
Yeah.
The Ordinal Nookies, shout out to them, Sam Sage, that whole group. And then so that's more tight knit, right? So you see them have these spaces that are like 20 people, 15 people, but they're consistent with it, right? But then you have the bigger, that's kind of the outer community, like Puppets is in there, right? Puppets has a little bit of both of that, but then you have like Nat Cats, which is the DMT community that support Nat Cats, right? But there's I would say those are the ones that come to my mind. Pizza Ninjas is really kind of curated by Trevor, and Quantum Cats is curated by Udi, right? So it's like without them, it doesn't, like, they could lose strength very quickly. So that's how I look at it. And Bitmaps, do you think that counts?
I do. Rumor has it,
and they're the strongest.
It's gonna be listed as a token, thanks to Merlin, right? So that could, and Bitmap could be the, what was it?
Listed where?
On an exchange. As a token. I mean, you know.
Well, I knew that. I knew that like that the Bitmap token was getting a lot of momentum, but I didn't know that there was like a centralized exchange that was ready to list them right now.
That's the rumor that's going on. That I don't know if they're getting listed right now, but I just think that potentially down the line that that Bitmap token could get listed. I mean, it has backing of a Bitmap, right? That's huge.
Yeah.
It's not just your normal meme coin, but I think that this could do really well, and I think that could really create a strong foundation of coin holders with the bitmap holders. I mean, this could go pretty crazy.
I never thought about that. Like,
Yeah,
if I don't know of any other crypto that's collateralized by another asset other than like
yeah,
wrapped BTC or wrapped
exactly.
tokens,
Yeah,
right? So if it gets like added to an exchange, maybe the exchange will just need to see like the validation of those bitmaps being securely tucked away in a
yeah,
PC wallet or whatever, right? But yeah, I mean that could be really really big. But yeah, I think from a community wise, like if bitmap counts, bitmap's the strongest community for sure.
yeah. I agree, and they got good leaders there as well. Ordinal Backseat I feel like has really taken a backseat. Puppets, I mean, I'm sorry, Frogs backseat now. Airheads are still too new to even talk about. Natcats, yeah,
Here's
I mean,
one. Patapoo, of course, repping his BTC machines. He says BTC machines are a solid, loyal community. I do not disagree with that at all. And he says they travel the world and pay for members' vacations in full. So, yeah, I remember they went to Marrakesh, Morocco, I believe, and there was something. Look, the machines are like this. I would say kind of like a little bit of a cult, but it's not like that XRP cult. It's like just a small kind of like, hey, look, we're here. We'll bleed for
yeah,
BTC machines and stuff like that. So in that aspect, yeah, shout out to the machine. Shout out to Mr. Lucky. Shout out to what's his name?
Papa,
Papu.
Papu or something, yeah,
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. Patty Poo. No, I'm just kidding. So Golden says, "Hey, do you think Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin would be a good portfolio of crypto?" Yes, 100%. But that's if you want to stay safe. That's what we do here. We go the next level down. But thank you for coming in, Golden. Appreciate you. But my man Yasher was helping him out this whole time, as he always does. So appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, so it's all about how risky you want to get. You want to stay safe? Yeah, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, 100%. You're gonna make gains with them. But here we're trying to find 100 X's. We're trying to find 1,000 X's. And see what we can make the most money on to bring back to Bitcoin. Right? I think that's the main goal.
But the good thing, Golden, I would say, is that you are still early enough in the cycle to be able to buy these blue chips and still 2, 5, possibly 10x on some of them. But if you're a safe person, then yeah, exactly what Shizzy said. None of this financial advice, of course. And then yeah, we go over some UTXO stuff like Bells, Doge, and stuff like that. But like primarily, we hit on Bitcoin and the Bitcoin ecosystem, and some new stuff like Merlin Chain is a Bitcoin ecosystem. Merlin is the token for that, so that's something that we talk about as well in terms of the ecosystem here.
100%. Honey Badgers has a really good community as well. People
Yeah.
don't already notice that, but those guys are all. If you come out and say no monkeys, the first thing can get collection, your tweet will get destroyed, or your post will have a whole bunch of honey badgers in there saying you are full of shit, and honey badgers was. So I don't know.
But how do you feel? How do you feel about honey badger's floor though? I feel like they always it always pumps and then it retraces every single time.
I know.
And I think for them to be like in like a leader, they need to sustain their floor. You know what I'm saying? And I just
100%.
don't know if they can do that.
Yeah, I don't think they can. We'll see. I mean, who knows, right? Like we do know at the end of the cycle there's going to be a collector's phase, and a lot of collectors are going to want to hold these sub 100K. And with these guys being a big part of that, I mean, we know that Bob Bodley and those guys were minters of this. So we got OG guys minting these and being part of that community. So it's just one of those things where this thing has relevance, right, for collectors.
Yeah, I mean, I still have a sub 100K. So.
Yeah. So, and then we keep going down here. Insurgents by Debauchery. This is one that I definitely could see 100xing and maybe getting to 0.3 one day. I'm not financial advice, but this is the ultimate alpha group. Like this is and you need 5 of these to get in, right? So this
Yeah.
is like the ultimate alpha group, which is
They need to start.
imposter.
They need to start calling some more. I'm not saying they're not right now, but like they're known for like calling really big plays. Gizmo came out of there. Some other stuff. So once we get into like the aggressive part of the bull run to where these micro caps and stuff start to take off, they'll probably be a lot more busy with like calling plays, and then people are going to want to get in, and then that's when I think this jumps up.
100%. I agree.
Emporium's right below them.
Yeah. So what do you think about them?
So they started off with a bang. They've got an extremely talented marketer for a leader of their project in Limitless. He has very amazing networking skills and great, just he's good to be the head of that project. But I do think they kind of lost a little bit of attention just amongst all these things. But I think right now right now isn't the important time to get all the attention. He's building in the background. And so I think that they come back with a fury and they do really well.
100%. Well, since we're on them, we might as well hit on this. Emporium Land Mint. The mint begins on the 5th of December at 16.25 UTC. The price starts at 0.0019, depending on which parcel you want. So this is the Bitmap Emporium land. And you can see your boys, Ordinal Revolution, already on there. We got our own land there. Right next to my man Petty.
Wow, man. Like he took his LinkedIn profile or maybe his dating profile or something, picture and put it on there.
Well, we tried to get a center. We should have actually, I guess this one was bigger. We should have tried to get center, like the center of the center. Something up here. I like our neighborhood. We're next to, who's this? You ever see this?
Gosh, dang it. No, I forgot. I know who that is, though.
We got a lot of people. We got Dogfather over here. Shout out to Dogfather in our neighborhood. I think this is what's that Bit game, right? BitBoy?
That's the BitBoy.
So, and we got my man
Vito.
Vito Corleone in here. So shout out to Vito. But then if you got to go up, you see Forbes, Block Runners in here. I think I saw Magic Eden's up there.
Foxy.
Tap's over there. Foxy's over here. And then we have even the Francis Dune Uncensored had time to actually get in there as well. So pretty huge. And then Unisat as well. So if you guys, Airheads are in the building now. That's pretty cool. That's new. I haven't seen that yet. So if you guys are interested in getting one of these parcels, you could put your own picture on there and kind of own it. But yeah, man. All right. Let's kind of get into the next thing here. Where were we? Okay, here, Airheads. Jumping back to Magic Eden. So yeah, they had the unveil yesterday. What did you think of it? Have you had time to take a look at their art?
I haven't, but I don't know, man. Like from the previews,
I like the art, bro.
Do you?
I like the art. I do. So this is a collection. What do you think?
Okay, they're like is it like a container box? That's pretty cool.
That's what it kind of looks like. Yeah. So
it's like what are they called? The pops.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that.
Expensive to get on, bro. This is not a cheap thing to inscribe. The Funko Pops. Yeah, I didn't think about that. They are. That's what they're kind of going after here. But some of these are really cool. I like the art, bro. I like this one a lot.
Yeah, I mean, this is not like something that they did with Fiverr. Like they definitely put their time in with the.
They all look like one-of-ones.
But nobody's fat.
Yeah, there's some. So that's the rare one. So you're probably going to have to jump all the way down to the bottom. The real rare ones are like the fat ones. Look at this guy.
Oh, okay, I got it.
You know what I mean? Like,
goodness gracious.
So if they're skinny, they're that's how you can tell. Like these skinny ones, they're not really but the fat ones, that's what you want here. That's what you
and was there a way for you to tell before they,
So it did say it would say Goku, but that's it, right? But it would say skinny Goku. So there was that way before the reveal did say the name of what it was on them. So, but yeah, so if you wanted Goku, you could have got Goku pretty cheap. But V for Vendetta, and then you got like a real fat one. So I don't know. I like this. I do.
Yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see how well they do.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Because for the audience that doesn't know about this, Arthur Hayes is his project. He's definitely associated with it, pretty heavily, I would imagine. It seemed like. So we're gonna see how this does. The floor is 0.003 right now. But yeah.
Yeah, man. All right, the next thing here is so Foxy starting today at 5 p.m. UTC, which I think is like an hour from now, or it might be now. All ultra mythic bit miners will begin mining a special asset from RUNES ecosystem, one of the top 3 assets in space. This is coming directly from their Twitter, so I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be yet.
Well, he
but,
said we could. He told us.
Okay.
He said we can say it. So it is going to be dog go to the moon.
Yeah.
So that is what is going to be able to be mined. So I think that's a really solid pick by them, and it's the perfect time to be able to mine it because the market cap is down a bit, right? It was at 900 million. It's at 660 million now. So before the next run up is the perfect time for you guys to mine that.
Yeah, so definitely check that out. If you need a miner, you can go to mscribe. They're still over there minting out. So but the ultra mystics is the second rarest one. The first rarest one, the cosmic, was you were able to get, what token was that? The tap token. So that was a big deal. But yeah, you can see this is mine. I have 2 ultra mythics and that are maintained, and I got 13,000 Foxy.
You getting that dog?
I'm gonna get some dogs. So I'm very happy about that. But yeah, I have 3 miners, because I have a rare one, but only the 2 ultra mystics will be getting the dog token. But hey, I'm still getting my other miner. I'm getting the bit timber, the B steel, and the B stone, and I'll be able to build on my bitmap using these materials. And then obviously too, I'm getting the B Foxy token, which is 1-to-1 with the Foxy token. So this is pretty cool. I'm actually mining and potentially getting this airdrop when it does happen of the Foxy token. But what do you think about using the ultra mythic to get some dog as well?
I think that's solid. Dog is hopefully you make out like a bandit there. I don't know how much they're gonna allow you to mine, but I feel like the staking that we've done with Fluid, the mining, these kind of things, we've gotten lucky with the timing. You know what I mean? Like the staking with the $1 billion cat, like that BDC jumped up like I think like 150% or something, right? And so I think you're going to be able to mine Dog Go to the Moon at the perfect time. It's going to run here in probably in a week and a half, 2 weeks, maybe. We'll see though.
Yep. I agree. Let's get to the next banner. So this is big. Osmosis, which is the #1, well, it used to be #1 swap when I used to play over there, and now I think there's other ones as well. But Osmosis BTC bridge is now live in a sign of Cosmos native DEX pivot toward Bitcoin. This is just the beginning. I think you're going to see runes stuff over on Cosmos, which is the layer 0, and Osmosis is a layer 1. Bridging Bitcoin now, and I think it's only a matter of time before you start to see at least Dog, maybe in a few others.
Dude, so there's like a very like slow marinating cook that's happening right now. And if you look at last cycle, like no one was trying to build a bridge to Bitcoin. Like
nobody.
No one was, right? Like, I mean, the Rap Bitcoin or whatever, it was really focused on the little group that was trying to focus on stacks, and that's it. Now you got like these builders and these other ecosystems that are trying to put bridges out left and right, bro. So to me, that makes me extremely bullish because it's an indicator that like what's to come. They want access back and forth to these Bitcoin layer 1 assets and Bitcoin itself. So Osmosis is now coming out. That's the latest one. Solana's been working on this for a long time. Cardano with Charles and then Fluid, our partner, which is amazing. And then what else do we have that's building bridges? Like obviously Ethereum and stuff like that, Merlin, to really, you have to say that, but and then Emblem Vault and stuff like that. So I think there's going to be more and more. I bet you we're going to have like near bridges. We're going to have Hedera bridges. There's going to be people that all try to like plug in. ICP's already, has one. So,
but think about this for a second. Cosmos is a layer 0 with about 60 chains building on top of it. So now it is easily to bridge once you are a Cosmos token or an Osmosis token, you're able to go anywhere now. So you're able to go to Injective, you're able to go to every
Chronos.
single chain Chronos.
Yeah.
As so this is a big deal. You might see crypto.com now taking on these runes as Cosmos tokens after using this bridge.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's definitely possible. And this is absolutely huge. And nobody is talking about this.
Well,
Maybe I'm just bullish on it because I've played on Cosmos. I've enjoyed the multi-chain, the bridging, the fast bridging, and everything that they offer. And now they're actually bridging from Bitcoin.
yeah, they have their own ecosystem, right? With all these other chains that are within it. Polkadot has something similar too that could happen like that. And like we're so focused because we're in the Bitcoin ecosystem every day. So you and I and people like that are in similar situations to us, we're like, okay, how can we get these runes to be able to trade in a scalable environment, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But that, we also have to consider that, like, yes, I think that's coming with Arch and the prover networks and stuff, but there also could be this entirely different market that looks at runes and BRC20s as kind of like gold bars. Right.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's take these gold bars over here and move them around fast. And if we
Yeah.
get a lot of people taking our gold bars everywhere, those gold bars value is going to just go up because on their original place. You get what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like, so there's also that opportunity, which I think is going to play out. But I still do think that like the scalable kind of fast paced environment was like that innovation is also going to be there. But I think they're going to be everywhere, like wrapped Bitcoin, like the popular ones, right? So.
No, 100%. I feel like wrapped runes is, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still Bitcoin, right? It's still Satoshis. So it's just, it's just indexed Satoshis. So, and people say that, like last night we had a question in in the Twitter chat. The guy asked him, he said, hey, if you're able to just bridge Bitcoin, like, are you gonna be able to do runes? And he said, good question. And I was thinking, runes are Bitcoin. So just index it, right? So I in my head, I was just like, this is just like, why isn't he jumping all over this question? The guy from Bitcoin OS saying, yeah, it's definitely possible because it is. It's just Bitcoin. It's the same exact thing. You just got to index those runes to make sure that they are dog and stuff like that. That might be the only hard part, but I mean, it's definitely possible. You just got to track the Satoshi.
Yeah. I think I think they've been really just focused on making sure, like, doing Bitcoin in a way that is, maxis can't really crap on it very much. You know what I mean, the least amount of trust assumptions and that thing. And once they get Bitcoin like down, then like they'll know that these other assets are just Satoshis, and that they'll work the same way in terms of time lock technology and all that stuff.
Yeah, 100%. All right, we get to something kind of cool here. This is from Alchemia. We had Leo from Alchemia on the show, and this is awesome because they are they are on Ethereum. You're able to long and short the mempool, but they just dropped a rune that you don't need to go into Ethereum anymore. So it's a bit of reading, but let me just get to this, guys, and you guys can give me Yagobi, give me your feedback. Introducing BTC feed rate runes. BTC feed rate runes is an innovative runes whose value is pegged to Bitcoin feed rate. As the network gets congested, its value rises in tandem to the feed rate. The fee rate of spikes. With BTC fee rate runes, you are now able to take advantage of the impact on chain events such as the Babylon Cap 1 launch. Remember that skyrocket the thing, and they have a chart here to show. This is Puka. The Puka Mint went wild. The Cypher Mint went, it did really well. And then the Memento Mori, obviously, took it to 360 sats per VByte. And then the BitCat and then the Mark. So how are you able to use this, right? And they have another article. Where was that?
I'm smiling very bigly.
Bigly. Each unit of BTC feed rate runes is backed by 1 VB of long position on Alchemia. So that's how they do it. They take long position, and every time you buy that, they create more long positions. So which tracks the average BTC network feed rate. You can redeem BTC feed rate runes for the underlying Bitcoin anytime. The estimated payoff is regularly updated in the dedicated channel. So you can just go to their website and you guys can get all the information on the feed rate and everything there. They did say you can freely trade BTC feed rate runes like any regular rune if the secondary market prices diverge significantly from the tracked feed rate, and arbitrage opportunity is then created. So, dude, this is pretty crazy. Bitcoin transaction fees can highly volatile, fluctuating from one savvy byte to several hundred. We've created a community-based feed rate alpha events calendar where everyone can submit information about the on-chain events. So you can just kind of go to their calendar and kind of see what is happening. And then potentially, if you're like, okay, I know the fee rate's going to go crazy, I'm going to buy this. But then you're like, okay, when do I sell this? Because you're not trading against anyone else. You're trading, you basically just taking a long out on that position. And then let's just say you call at the top. It's at 280. You're like, that's my number. I'm selling it right here. And then you go on the market. But then someone else is like, no, this is going to 500. And they want to purchase this. So it's going to be about finding a buyer as well. But I'm curious of your whole opinion.
Will it be though? Because in that article, it says that you can cash out whenever.
Well, you'd have to take that, right, to Alchemia.
I guess, or they probably have like a tab on their website. Could.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, well, so here's my thing is that, like, okay, do these fee rate runes, do they expire? Because if they expire, then that's the problem. Like, I don't
think they expire.
So you can just wait until the fee, the rate just goes extremely high again. Like, why would you not?
You can buy them now. You can buy them now and then wait 3 months, 4 months down the line. And then when it's 70, 80 sats per VWatt, you can just start selling them or cashing out.
Yeah.
So this could be a long-term hold.
I think this is brilliant. I think this is brilliant by Alchemia and Leo. We actually had Alchemia and Leo on the show. If you guys go to our library of pre-records, you can catch that one in our library, but on YouTube. But I think this is really brilliant because I think there's always going to be someone in the market to buy these.
Yeah.
You know, like let's say that the fee rate is low, very low. You're going to have to sell them probably cheap, right? You can be like, well, like, I don't want to sell them exactly like what the fee rate is, right? I want to sell them a little bit higher because I know that eventually the fee rate is going to go higher. Someone might be like, well, I don't want to buy them then, right? And then they'll try to buy the cheaper ones. But someone might buy them because they know that an event's coming up. And what I think is, here's the kicker. Do you have the time to keep track of these events? You know what I'm saying? And then also, why not buy these now before like the Bitcoin ecosystem explodes and like the mempool goes absolutely nuts, right? If BRC20s pick back up, bro, game over.
I know. And we do know that party's launching, right? And I don't think it's on their calendar. So because this is the Merlin thing. But look, if you're buying it right now at 007, I mean this might go to 70 cents.
What's the total supply?
Times.
10 million. That's not bad.
So that's not going to matter because they're going to keep buying them back off you, right? They just have enough to kind of keep this from going.
I do think it matters, right? Because it matters because of demand. Because like let's say that the fee rate is high, right?
Yeah.
But also like the demand is high, like for because the fee rate will create demand for this token. So let's say that like the supply is maxed out at 10 million, but the demand's going absolutely nuts, and it's like being bought. It will actually increase the price more than what the fee rate is tracking. That's what I think he meant by that. Like in the description of like you can make more than what the fee rate is tracking because the demand of the token is so high. You know what I'm saying? It's actually going nuts. And so that's where maybe the arbitrage opportunity could come in or whatever, into where, you know what I'm saying?
Because then people are taking them, cashing them in, but they might just be buying them off the market to hold them and then, just selling them there because that is where people are buying them instead of going to Alchemy itself and getting them there. I don't know, man. I think this is a game changer. This guy, we have nothing with this team. This is just us openly thinking. This is not a paid segment or anything like that. We let you know at 100%. So this is just us thinking,
researching and researching with you guys live. But I want to give a shout out real quick to Moral. Man, remember Moral? He used to be in our spaces. He was with Counterfeit Culture.
Yeah.
What's up, Moral?
What happened, you guys?
Been a long time, man. Hope you guys are doing well. But,
I definitely miss Counterfeit Culture. you guys, what are you guys doing? I would love to know. I'd love to actually, talk to you guys, see what's going on.
Prism and everybody. Yeah.
It's been a long time. Boozy, Prism, right? That whole game. But yeah, man. Peanut Butter Jelly Time says, "Good morning, all." It's my guy right there. I want to shout on him. And then Red Wand says, "You guys checked the range? It's the craziest rune cult meme. So hilarious." I have not. I can check it out though.
Plug.
I mean, that's what we do here, right?
Yeah.
So there is two. There's one with actual volume though, which is this one. The range, it had 417 holders, 1 billion supply, 6 Bitcoin market cap. I mean, it had a nice market cap. I gotta look into it, see if it was a pre-mined and stuff like that. But
how many holders?
Yeah, 417. So it's very low on holder count.
Yeah, you gotta look at the pre-mine and the percentage of top holders.
But but definitely willing to take out anything. Borno says GM, and then Mike Bennett says, hey. But yeah, man, I'm actually out of banners now, unless we have any questions to get into.
Let's see if there was any up here. It looks like Golden is new to crypto in general. Yeah. Just I would definitely do a ton of research. He's asking if we think Bitcoin's is safe to go over 100K.
Easily, bro.
Not financial advice at all.
Well, it depends what your time frame is. 5 years from now, easily, right? I mean, I think everyone can easily agree on that.
That's a 100% guarantee.
Yeah, it's not fun.
But yeah. Oh wait, there was something else I wanted to get to. Oh, okay. So let's hit on before we end the show some of the ecosystem, like I would say like major players in terms of tokens. Like this is not financial advice at all. This is just kind of something I wanted to look at in terms of, I say the safest place typically are the chains that are in the ecosystem. So let's talk about the UTXO ecosystem, right? So if we're looking, let's start with like Stacks, because I saw Call Me Hunch talk about, he was frustrated saying Stacks can't get past a certain price. And I wanted your opinion about it, because like Stacks to me, token wise, like you cannot deny the token in terms of the volume that it creates, but has it been like, is it being suppressed a little bit, or is it like is there too many early whales that just sell as soon as it gets going? Because you can see here, this top happened earlier this year, which is wild, right? Because like Stacks topped at do you remember when Stacks was running like in February when Bitcoin was running? So it was at $3.62, which was its all-time high, right? So do you think that hurts Stacks because like it like you said, it's a leverage play on Bitcoin, and it topped in February when Bitcoin went to 74,000. It hit its first all-time high this year, but now Bitcoin has hit a new all-time high that's hyper aggressive, but Stacks isn't even close to where it used to be. So what's going on, do you think?
So yeah, you have to remember what was happening at that time. We were all looking forward to the Nakamoto upgrade in March.
Oh yeah,
this was the original one, and then it got pushed back to August, and then it got pushed back to I want to say October, and we finally had the Nakamoto upgrade. There's really nothing to look forward to anymore, right? So the market's always forward looking. Now that Nakamoto is out, it's not as impressive as everyone thought it was going to be. And we have more assets here in the Bitcoin ecosystem that we didn't have last time. We have more chains, we have more interactions with the Bitcoin layer 1. You didn't have that, last cycle. Everyone thought that was going to be where Bitcoin DeFi was going to live. Now we have things like Merlin, we have things like Fractal, we have things like so many other these L2 EVMs that we didn't have before. Cardano is now looked at as a Bitcoin play. So I just think that a lot of that money that would have went into Stacks went into things like these other L2s like Fractal, Merlin, even Cardano. Yeah. But I do think that Stacks goes to $8 to $10, but I do think it's going to be more of a low cap altcoin.
Yeah, and it'll be a different. It's like when everything really pumps together, that's whenever I think it'll get going. But I absolutely agree with you in terms of like opportunity X's. People are looking at it as like, okay, maybe not so much of like that micro cap. It's definitely like a larger cap. It's not like the large ones. It's like mid to large, right? You're looking at a $3.4 billion market cap. It is a chain. It's a chain token. You know, supplies 1.5 billion, max supplies 1.882. So there's still some that need to be mined. But as you can see here, you know, it is slowly, gradually just going back up here. One thing I will say, makes me agree with you that this does get to, you know, that $6 to $8 range is, look at this. I mean, it was listed on Coinbase a while ago. Coinbase loves stacks. It's on Binance. So no worries here. If you guys hold this, it's going to go up, but it's not going to go as fast as some of these other ones that have more X opportunities, right? So I definitely wouldn't worry too much. I have someone in here saying, check out Alex, and I'll bring up Alex Labs real quick. So it's a part of the Stacks ecosystem. They had a security breach earlier this year, but you know, they figured out what happened there, and that actually hurt it, you know, pretty bad back then. But it has rebounded some. Do I think that it? First of all, I want to say the security breach that sucked and everything. They handled it, I think, pretty well for the most part. I think they could have probably. I think they probably could have jumped the gun a little bit quicker to kind of own up to it, but they eventually did, and they figured out what happened and all that stuff. So Alex Lab has been an integral part of Stacks, you know, bridging and stuff like that. Also trying to innovate with these Bitcoin Layer 1 assets. With it sitting at a $68.5 million market cap, 1 billion total supply. What's something like Alex, do you think, in terms of price, can get to this bull run? It's at 11 cents. So, I mean, the market cap has room to grow, but I think they need to make a big innovative move. Like, you know, they did the bridge, but it wasn't like that. Like, it didn't onboard a ton of users. I'll say that.
If they can be the hub for RUNES, if they can be a hub for BRC20s in a fast trading environment, and they got to do it soon. I know you can already trade some over there, but they got to get their bridge up and running very quickly. And if it's easy to bridge in and out with your RUNES. I think this can get to, I don't know, I think this can get to $100, 90, $80. I do. I truly believe that. And I'm not even an Alex holder. I've never even thought about owning it. Yeah. To think about it though, so
6.8 billion.
This is, but just think about it though in terms of Unisat to Ethereum, right? So Unisat's about 10% of what Uniswap is like 10% of what Ethereum is. So to put that in line with, this is the #1 DEX over there. I mean, if this, what's the market cap of this right now?
68 million.
Yeah. So I think this can get to, you know,
so Uniswap right now is at 8.5 billion.
Yeah. And what is Ethereum?
I don't know what Ethereum is, but
it's like 300 billion.
Okay.
So that's kind of my point.
So you're just ratioing it percentage wise, correlating to Uniswap.
#1 DEX to the chain token.
So I think the 600 million is possible, but I don't think the 6.8 billion is possible this cycle. And then they would also have to really make the experience amazing, and Stacks and Nakamoto upgrade too. Like all that needs to be great.
Yeah.
So because you're talking about 100x, which would bring that to 6.8 billion, and that would bring the price to $100. You know, a little over 113. But you know, 10x, yeah, I think it could get to $1. $600 million market cap if everything's going smooth, all that kind of stuff. But
if Stacks gets to, let's just say, $30 billion, I think this can get to anywhere between, you know, 30, 40, 50, 60. I don't know. I think the sky's the limit for the #1 DEX that has, you know, TVL. You got to remember too that I think there's definitely going to be a DeFi cycle to this, and I think something like Alex is going to benefit from that. But it's not financial advice at all. I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah,
this is actually the first time I've ever even thought about it, honestly.
Yeah. And Red One loves your target there because he must have a big bag of Alex.
Dude, we've seen stupider stuff happen. You know, like
one thing that I'll say that is a little bit shocking is Alex is not on like any of the tier 1s other than BitGet, which you know, according to Jeff, BitGet is kind of moving its way into that tier 1. KuCoin is tier 2.
You can see Alex on Coinbase, like, you know what I mean?
Coinbase, yeah. I mean, I like, one of the things that I give Stacks a hard time is volume on chain. Right. I you know that I do.
Yeah.
And you know, look, I think that like a lot of early adopters fell in love with Stacks because of what they're trying to do with Bitcoin and DeFi. But volume is volume, right? Unless they're not reporting it correctly. I think that either one of those two things, because if they're reporting it correctly, then it definitely needs to pick up more volume on chain. But we'll see. We'll see. I think this is an interesting one. Interesting play. Stacks does well. I believe Alex has to do well. So could be a good one.
High Up Man says Alex started doing the most with Lisa and something else. X. I should have been all in on Alex. What is Lisa? I think it's
Lisa.
I think it's a token. I'm not really sure.
Lisa Simpson.
Oh.
No.
Lisa,
But,
it's your birthday.
yeah. All right, so going to Merlin chain next. Okay, so you know, a lot of people were, you know, saying, oh, you know, Merlin started off like really high, which it did. It started up when it first launched, but you have to remember that the way that Merlin worked was they allowed you to stake a bunch of stuff in the Merlin seal and earn a ton of Merlin. And so I think a lot of those sellers came in, right? So when it launched at like $1.73. Okay, so it definitely went through its ups and downs, but I think the biggest focus has been, you know, what have they done from an innovative approach? And I think they've done the best, in my opinion, in terms of bridging layer one assets and utilizing them on like a fast-paced EVM environment, right? So if we look at, you know, let's say the past month, you know, it's definitely had some spikes up, but it was really hanging around, I would say, like 20 to 30 cents for the longest time. It's really broken up and been much more consistent as of late. So what do you think has caused that consistency and confidence in some of these buyers possibly, right? Because it jumped up from, let's say, 30 cents in the end of July or November to kind of, you know, to where we are today. It's been a gradual uptick at 43 cents. The only thing I can think of is obviously, you know, Merlin Mondays talking about, you know, the Telegram apps. Yesterday, Jeff actually showed us 2 of them live, and then they have BTC.fun. So what do you think is causing more confidence and more consistency?
I honestly don't think it's up enough. I just think that the only reason why it's up is because Bitcoin's up. And I say that because of the fact that Merlin was just too beaten down. Merlin should not have been 20 cents. I completely think that this is going to be something. This is, you know, the leader in TVL in Bitcoin, right? Like, I mean, with real TVL, not like fake shit.
Because
You know, it's
so real quick, the TVL, like from a DeFi Llama perspective, it doesn't show the true, because I say true. So it shows the true that's on chain right now. But as we know, like M Bitcoin it is being staked in other areas for the chain's benefit, right? So if you look at total true TVL, it has the most once that comes back home.
100%.
But yeah, to your point,
I think this is such a sleeper, and you're only getting this up 100% from the bottom. I think that is super, super cheap. I think this gets to anywhere between $4 and $10. I truly believe that, and I think $10 is still conservative. I was saying 8 for the longest time, but we have a meeting with Jeff every Sunday, and I've never seen him so bullish, right? Because he's one of our partners there, and just take us for granted, guys. He is one of our partners, but the only reason he is a partner of us because we're very bullish on him as a human, and him as a developer, and him as a leader of this chain.
Yeah, and so obviously anything that we talk about with this kind of stuff is just research purposes only, not
100%.
financial advice at all. But looking at the market cap, is at, you know, 224 million, which is pretty solid. The circulating supply is 525 million, and then has about 1.5 billion left to go in terms of total supply being 2.1. If we look at the centralized exchanges, it does hit the tier 1 check mark with OKX there. Bybit also, you know, that's the one I was talking about. Bybit is the one that kind of trying to sneak its way into the tier 1 for centralized exchanges. There's a ton of volume there, but you see MEXC, Gate, all these other. There's tons of exchanges, so it's definitely popular. But we'll see.
Kraken's coming. So
it's trading on Kraken Pro too. Yep.
We have a comment here. It says a viral AGI says regulations are coming to the USA, and Stacks is very well positioned since they already went through the regulatory requirements. 100%. I couldn't agree with this comment more. Like this is huge.
But they all are like they all are like you know, Jeff was talking to us about like he's been doing a ton of him and his team have been doing a ton of like legal regulatory work with the US and other countries as well. So definitely that's what we are hearing. So do your own research on all this stuff.
Well, I mean, you don't get listed on Kraken Perps without, you know, them going through the process.
They're a U.S. company, right?
Yeah, 100%. They will not play with anything that's unregulated or unregulatable, if that's a word.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So cool. Yeah. Merlin's definitely one that's in the top with Stacks, I believe. Alex is kind of like, I believe there's definitely upside there. We'll see if Stacks does well. I feel like it has to. The next one I want to check out here, and I know we got about 8 minutes left in the show.
We can go longer. I don't care.
So Fractal Bitcoin. So I know there's a lot of people watching right now that are like, oh man, like, you know, I got into Fractal and it was going nuts. Cause let's be honest, when it launched, it was going nuts. I think it got to like $36 or something crazy like that, right?
Yeah, it got to $40 actually was the all-time high.
Yeah, so on Coin Market Cap, it's showing $36.54, but close enough, right? So you have to remember that's like small circulating supply coming out and stuff like that. But miners actually were mining this before it launched, right?
Yeah. Well, not before it launched, but as soon as it went live.
But the token launch.
The token wasn't mineable until Block 2, and Block 2 was like.
I know, but was the token launched to the public at that point? Once
so
they could mine?
They took 50%. No, that was Block 2 when they took the 50% mine. So remember Block 1 had that huge delay. It like hit, and then there was like a 5-minute, 6-minute delay, and then Block 2 came out, and then Block 2 was the one where they took the 50% allocation.
Yeah. Okay, so let's check out Fractal Bitcoin here. So I think all of us were really bullish. I was actually in Singapore whenever a lot of this stuff was happening, and Shizzy was like a chicken with his head cut off, kind of
I didn't know what to do. I was too bullish.
To figure out like what to do here, because like Cat came out of that as well. There was like protocols, and you know, Spencer Yang, we did a interview with him. He is one of the founders of Fractal Chain. Go watch that recording. But I mean, he seems to have a level head, really calm. He's had past success. He was part of the actual founding group of this company that I'm looking at right now, Coin Market Cap. So like, how can we not have confidence in someone like that, right? And they're teamed up with Unisat, obviously. But man, this sell down, imagine someone coming in and buying the top at $36, right? And thinking that this is going to explode. Obviously, probably not, you know, seasoned, not experienced, because they didn't look at the tokenomics and all these things. But even if you bought, like, let's say you bought right here at $13, you know, you're looking back and you're like, ugh, you know. So like, as someone that's holding at $13, right, and they just thought it was going to go back to like this $20-$30, it's at 46 million, which is low market cap. The total supply is 210 million, not very much. I mean, it's not huge, but not very much for a chain. And there's only 7 million. How is there only 7 million circulating right now? Out of that 7 million circulating, there had to have been like a large percentage of that miners that sold down, right? So what do you do if you bought at $13, you bought like 20 grand? What do? You just got to hold, right?
Honestly, I would try to find something else in the ecosystem. I probably wouldn't hold this for the fact that every time, let's say it goes to $8, miners dump. It goes to $9, miners dump. It goes to $11, miners dump. I'd honestly, and I'll probably answers this question right here, which one, Cat or FB? I'd probably go Cat. The full Cat supply is out, right? Cat potentially is going to be on bells in a couple of weeks or months, in my opinion, or they're going to have their own. But I just think that, I don't know, I'm really bullish on what's going on with you know, the cat 20s being the #1 standard over there right now. And you got to remember too, Sats Pump Fun is building on cat 20s, right? So I don't know if I'd hold FB over cat.
Yeah, so I agree that cat has like this huge, like, I feel like when you paint the picture of potential for cat, it's a beautiful picture. This is a token standard, a token that can travel from potentially Fractal to Bell's Coin once Bell's Coin adds OpCat, right? So it can be a universal token. So what does that mean? That means that supply can be taken out of supply. People hold it on different chains. So, but I will say this. I think people are sleeping on this number right here. 7.32 million in circulation, right? Because right now, you're absolutely right. Anytime it bounces up, it got up to, you know, like $7, $8, it gets sold right back down, right? But I think what could happen is once we are in alt season, with let's say the 7 million gets to like 8.5, because it's obviously dripping. This is pretty slow. I mean, you know, 7 million out since it launched, right? Let's say we're at 8.5 million FB tokens. And then all of a sudden, huge Unisat whales, huge Binance whales, huge Fractal whales pour into this thing. It is not going to take much to make this thing run up. And then even if miners dump, they'll dump in the beginning, and then like they'll dump and see it like actually jump the price that they brought it back down to very fast, you know. So this could very quickly get back to that $34, $50. And I think at one point you and I were talking when we looked at the tokenomics and the circulating supply drip, we said this thing could actually get to, $100 to $200 at all-time high this cycle. Do you still think that?
No, I don't.
What do you
I
think
just
with that
feel like,
circulating supply though? And if
I
whales
mean,
decide to manipulate it?
but like, why hold this token? Why hold
It's
it?
because you bought in at $13.
Well,
You
I mean, at
don't
that
want to
point, like
take
I
a
said,
loss.
find other opportunities. Take that same money. Like, stop thinking about what happened yesterday. Think about what you have now and what you're going to have potentially have tomorrow. Right? Thinking about yesterday, you can't fix yesterday, but you can fix tomorrow. So I just think that let's just say your 13,000 is now 5-6 grand. Take
Oh
that
my
6
God.
grand and
No,
try to
no.
find opportunity.
20,000 at $13. So let's say you got it right now. What is it?
It would,
$6.30, right?
yeah, it would be like
So
8-9,000.
yeah, so you're looking at like around there, right? Because it's about
Yeah.
half. So you would just swallow that loss and then just try to hurry up and maneuver to get back to your base and then make more, obviously, from that. But if you feel confident, so you're saying you're not confident enough that this will even get to $13, or you think
I just feel like there's better plays. So yeah, I do think about $13, but like, why not try for something like Cat that can get to $13, right? Like, because it's not just a one chain token anymore. Now it's on Bells. Now it's on Jack Lou's new chain. Now it's on potentially every chain that adds OpCat, potentially down the line and stuff like that. So, or maybe this Sats Pump Fund really pushes these Sats tokens to crazy valuation, and this is the first one, so this shoots up first. So
okay.
I just feel like there's more opportunity in lower cap coins, or not even lower cap coins, in coins that just don't have so much inflation that is coming. So the Fractal does have a halving in 2 years. I think in 2 years, I think that's when it's maybe worth
Yeah, but
jumping in.
I guess we got to look at the kind of VC release schedule too on this to see
Yo,
whenever
that too. You got to remember that.
yeah,
Yeah.
whenever that comes out, because like, I mean, let's be honest, 7.32 million tokens is not much, dude. Like, that is nothing. So there's going to be some releases that happen with the investors, but depending on when those are, okay, so let's say, like I said, 8.5 million circulating. We're in spring. What's a safe price target for Fractal for you?
$26, $25.
That's pretty safe. I think a little bit higher. I think maybe 35. I think
The
35. But
problem
regardless,
is there's 70,000 new tokens coming in every single day. 70,000 new tokens every single day.
70,000 times what? 60. Yeah. Is that for sure? You know that?
No, I can do the math. It's hard. So it's
that's 4.2 million if you're right.
So let me see.
To
So
get to February.
30-second blocks. So 50. So every 24 hours. So what's 1 minute? So 1 minute times 60. So there's 60. There's 120 blocks every hour times 24. That is 2,880 blocks times 25 tokens. So yeah, 72,000 every single day. 72,000 new tokens every single day.
So by February we would be at 11.5 million. So I mean, yeah. So if you let's say that it gets to $35 and you bought in at 13, so you would only get like maybe like 2.7x from the 20,000. So especially how early we are in the bull market, you can swallow that loss. And I agree that you could probably find something like, even like if you went into Merle, that could 10, is a pretty solid opportunity for a 10x or even something like that. So yeah, good discussion, good conversation. And we covered Fractal, we covered Merlin, we covered Stacks. Did we miss any before we
so I actually would like to take a look at this. We have a comment about Core. We've never ever looked at Core, and this has been a coin on Coinbase forever. So if I can find a comment. A lot of comments today, guys. Thank you guys so much for commenting. It really helps the show when you guys are engaged, and I feel like it's just a better show. So thank you guys so much, every single one of you guys, from Mike Bennett to Itatoshi to Yasher, as always. I love Yasher. You guys helped out so much today. High up, man. Please, and I beg you guys, let's keep this up every single day. It'll benefit us and benefit you guys. We can really get the back and forth going. But it was Redwan. He said, also, you guys never talk about Core. What do you think of them? And I gotta do my due diligence. Honestly, I know nothing about Core,
except for the fact that, like, one of our partners, BitPerp, launched their testnet. Look, I think Core takes this like global marketing approach, right? And I think the reason why we don't talk about Core very much or know a ton about them is because they don't make an effort to connect with the Bitcoin ecosystem community that is
Yeah.
here every single day, and that's fine because, like, you know, at the end of the day, their developers and stuff are focused on what their goal is to be this Bitcoin layer 2. Which, by the way, a lot of people gave crap to Merlin for taking the kind of EVM route, but Core is the same, right? So my whole point here is that, like, you know, Core obviously has been planning for this entry into this Bitcoin layer 2 approach, or, you know, scaling solution for quite some time, because it looks like they launched in February of 2023, right?
Yeah.
And for them to get on Coinbase exchange that fast, they've been planning this, and for them to get on OKX that fast, I mean, OKX, yeah, I could see a little bit easier, right? But it is pretty wild that they you know, were able to do. So let's take a look at them.
Yeah.
So they obviously started really high. Probably, you know, investors, VCs. I guarantee VCs in this, but I could be wrong. But it went from 425. They have a total supply of 1.2 billion. So, or so 2.1 billion. Sorry, same as Merlin. But then they dropped pretty quick, kind of like Merlin's situation, actually. Yeah. But dropped even more. So because they would start at $4.25, and then they got all the way down to like 40, 50 cents. And then in, it looks like April, so around the same time Stacks started to really hit its high point, Core also hit its high point, right? So it got back to $3.77, and then it's been down only up until, I would say, end of November, which is kind of how the other tokens have done as well that have jumped up. So it went back up to 190, almost $2, and then now it's kind of sitting at 151. So you know, I think one thing that we need to do is possibly get these guys on the show, you know.
Yeah, should.
That would help a ton, and also learn about some of the builders other than Bitperp that have been building on their chain, because I don't know if Bitperp's going to build on their chain right away. You know, it might take a little bit of time, but yeah. So I don't know. They look pretty decent. I think their TVL is good too.
Yes, TVL is at 800 million, so which is huge. They have Pell Network, which is a restaking, $393 million. This is like half of the TVL, and then this other one, DSyn. So these like top four are like the majority of the TVL, but we know Avalon. We know DSyn. Well, I know DSyn from Ethereum. I think they're on Ethereum as well. No, yeah, they're on Ethereum. I do remember the name from last cycle. So there are builders here that
they got
have been
Sushi
around.
too.
Yeah. So, we're down here. So I went to Copeland because this is their native. So if you go to look, the best thing to do is use the native ones, right? Because a lot of times the team's involved with that one, so that way it's a lot safer. Not saying none of these are not safe, but a lot of times too. So I went to CoreX, which is you know, the main one here from them, and it's nice. The swap, you know, you kind of select, but obviously there's no layer one assets, right? You got Bitcoin, Solve, BTC,
They have
and stuff
Solve
like that.
BTC,
But like,
yeah.
like, why would you trade? You know, there's no meme coins here. There's no fun.
Well, they're
Like,
still pretty. They're still pretty new. They're still
yeah.
pretty new.
So you can trade Core for let's just say wrapped ETH, right? So you can do this on there, and they have borrowing and lending. I mean, you can do a lot of cool DeFi stuff over here. So
yeah,
derivatives,
they're definitely
Launchpad.
more focused on, I think, like Bitcoin TVL and
Yeah.
you know, offering some sort of DeFi with Bitcoin. I think they will have like more native you know, tokens on there eventually. But yeah, I mean, look, in terms of Bitcoin layer 1 assets being bridged over, like, Merlin to me is the only one that has any type of activity for that, and it's not easy, you know, to gain that activity. I think that the BTC.fund is going to help, but I'm definitely interested in diving into Core, right? And you know, anything that's going to be a part of this ecosystem is going to be big for this bull run.
I'm just okay. Babylon, Bob stake. So restaking. Yeah, so you can stake your Bitcoin here. I'm not sure. Okay, there's 1.5x Pell points. Yeah, so I mean, they're really going after Bitcoin, stake Bitcoin. So you can actually, wow, you can stake your Bitcoin and then stake your staked Bitcoin.
Restaking, baby. Restaking.
So then solve BTC, wrap BTC, and
yeah,
MBTC, good for them. That was cool to see. But yeah, every BTC they can possibly think about can be staked and restaked here. So yeah, definitely something we should start looking at. I think we should start maybe once a week. We kind of dive into a chain that we really haven't spent any time with, because I think that would really benefit our community.
Yeah. The last one I want to talk to you about real quick, because the audience, I know okay, so it's Bell's coin, right? So this is a UTXO thing. It's been a part of kind of like this
85 cents.
UTXO ecosystem, right? So Bell's is one that, like, you know, we're pretty bullish on in terms of the future of it, but it's been getting hit like with a sledgehammer or something. As you can see, the market cap here is 46.76 million. It is its own chain. We know, like, the community over there, you know, Adam McBride, which is also a head of marketing and development for Emblem Vault, is kind of taking on the community leader over here, but they, you know, have brought on core devs and stuff like that. They had their epoch, which is kind of like a halving for miners. And there's one more that's coming up in June. And after that, no more. So, you know, the reward will be what it is, or no more, or it'll be what it is. And it'll be like a million token emission every year at that point. And the total circulating supply will be 70 million. And so that to me is bullish in terms of tokenomics for this bull run. But man, why the beating? Why the beat down this past, let's say 7 days? You know, it got as high as $1.38, right? For this past week, and now we're sitting at 85. Is this a freaking, you know, lick your chops and pick up more of this bloody sell down, or is it, I want to stay away and see if, you know, it bounces back?
So the other day I saw Tap down at, like, not Tap, Track down at like 65 cents. And I was like, damn, is this going to go lower, or is this a buying opportunity? The next day it was back to 90, right? And I missed that opportunity.
Why was it back to 90 though?
Well, it's because they put out their tokenomics, something like that. So maybe that's what it was. But does Bell have anything to look forward to? Yeah, they got listed on Gate, they got listed on Mixi, Opcat, 100%. Yeah. So, but
they're willing to just have developers come over and break the chain, not necessarily break it, but, you know, build whatever. You know, they want anything to come over and build and stuff like that, right? So, you know, at the end of the day, I look at this personally. This is my personal opinion, guys. I'm probably wrong. Okay, so don't follow me, but I am going to buy this dip up like freaking. I'm licking my cereal bowl up or something, because I feel like this is the cheapest I've seen it in a while, and I know who's kind of behind, like, the, you know, community over there and stuff like that. Plus, it's merged mine, so the miners will never go away. Secondly, the Opcat aspect of it, and thirdly, this is the last thing, and Kenta hit on this actually. Welcome to the show, Kenta. He says, regardless, I think Bells will be listed on Binance because of Binance mining. So I don't know if that's a fact that they will be listed on Binance. No one knows that that's a fact. But one thing I will say is that Binance came out with a Bell staking dashboard to where you can stake it. Now the APR was crazy low, like 2.89%. But hey, look, they're giving rewards to their people, and I think that's cool, and that does give me an indication it could be listed on Binance. But I think this could be a steal of the you know, Q4. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. I think I'm a big reason why. I feel like Lucky follows it, and Lucky did this crazy thing. I hope some of you guys made some profit on this, but it flew up, and you saw Bells kind of go to 140, and then as Lucky was going, you saw Bells kind of creeping down as Lucky really took the trend. And when that happens, you know, a lot of times too, it kind of loses that momentum. So I just think that it needs to get down to a certain price, and is that price 85 cents before to get that momentum back, right? Because that's what people want to see. It's green candle disease. They don't buy when something's down. They buy it when it's back up, right? And that's kind of continuously. So when Bells gets back to $1, I think that's when you can see it easily get back to $1.40, if not $2. I think we I don't know about you, but I have a price target of like 30 to 40 bucks on this. And that's kind of my minimum. I can see this go to 80, 90, $100 if it gets listed on Binance.
Yeah. So for the audience that don't know what Bell's chain is, we kind of described it a little bit. It's a UTXO chain, so similar tech stack to Bitcoin, but more probably closer to Litecoin and Doge. But the thing about Bell's coin is there's some pretty mimetic lore to it. So Billy Marcus, which is Billy M2K on X, actually was he's the creator of Dogecoin. He created Bell's coin first before Doge. And he created it based off of a name from the Farmville Nintendo game. And then this was in 2014 or right before Doge launched. And they created a wallet for it and named the wallet Nintendo Wallet. And then they got served a cease and desist letter from Nintendo Corporation. So they had to change the name to Nintendo, which to me is like even more of this awesome meme like lore to it, right? And then he's like, forget it. Like, I'm going to do Doge, which is a funny dog. And so that's why I think a lot of people are looking at this as like an opportunity for like the meme of the cycle. They did recently get listed on Gate.io. They're on MEXC, but they aren't on any of the large tier ones as of yet. But again, you know, Binance is merge mining it, and so we shall see. We shall see.
100%. And, you know, that's pretty fair. I mean, the miners do hold a lot of coins, according to Adam McBride. So, I mean, it could be the miners taking profit here as well, which is good, though. If the miners take profit, it means more coins are going to be pushed in circulation. Yes, the price goes down, but we can get these coins out of these miners' hands and into community members' hands, right, at cheap prices, because that's when communities are developed. They're not developed, you know, when things are super high. They're developed when things are super low, and people have opportunity to 10, 20, 30, 40x. And I think right now is a good, if you've ever thought about buying Bells, you know, not financial advice, but there's no time like the present. But
yeah, I agree. Let's see if I can find this real quick.
Let's see any comments here. We did have a super chat from our boy Ernesto Gonzalez. He says,
Hey,
Mr. Yagobi, I change on time. My tap and track for Trivis? I don't know what that is. And made 3x. Sorry, but the best move. So he said he sold his tap and track and he got into Trias. You ever hear of Trias? Maybe he's talking Trio. Maybe Trio, the Ordinal spot. I'm not sure.
Oh, maybe Trio. Yeah, if that's Trio, Ernesto, let us know. But Shizzy and I are pretty bullish on Trio, just because we know the Ordinal spots guys. You know, we met Bruffstar. I would say probably 2-3 times. I met him 3 times. Shizzy's met him twice. You know, and so really cool. Look, these guys are straight up business guys. Like they have built a business model, and you know they look at their bottom line. So that's why I'm bullish on it. I don't know what their market cap goes to, but he says Trias Labs. So they're not talking about Trio. I'm not familiar with Trias Labs. Are you?
No, never.
Yeah. So that one's interesting. But I want to show this before we get into the last part of our show. So this is Bell's Coin Earn. I don't know if this is real. I saw this on X. So go search Bell's and then Binance APY or something and see if this will go up. But like this is what I saw. So net APY is like 1.86, and I think they're just allowing you to stake it or something. I don't know. But I found it from this post here. But yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Take that Bells. If you join Ordinal Spot Ambassador Program, you get a portion between 50 to 100 Trio tokens. Hell yeah, that's awesome. That's like $3 a piece. That's a nice come up for free. But I never heard of Trias Labs. Did we bring it up?
Yeah, let me look it up real quick.
What is it? Is it?
He says it's a Chinese AI. I think. Let me see.
Okay, probably a Trias.1, reliable, intelligent, non-systems, a layer 1 blockchain. Okay, decentralized cloud. Yeah, I mean it's a layer 1 blockchain. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
learn something new from you guys, man.
Yeah, and it's AI, so that's a good you know, narrative that's actually coming through at I think the time for AI is probably now. But man, we definitely overextended the show, but it was fun. We love to engage with you guys and interact. So like Shizzy said, you know, we want more shows like this, right? 450 people tuning in, and again, the one goal of the show each day is for you guys to learn at least one thing, take one thing from the show that enlightens you guys, and you guys learn and get ready for this upcoming run. And then obviously you know, we are so thankful for you guys to view in, and our audience to allow us to do what we love to do each and every day, right? So if you do have some extra time, you wouldn't mind checking out our partners. Emblem Vault is a interoperability tool that's going to be utilized, I think, heavily for these Bitcoin layer 1 assets. You're going to be able to jump from Bitcoin layer 1 to chains like Merlin chain, to chains like Solana, to like Ethereum, utilizing their jump feature, which will be powered by the LIT protocol. They're also building amazing AI wallets as well. You know, right now they have that Solana wallet, and then eventually Bitcoin's going to come out very, very soon too. You can learn more about them at emblem.vision. And one last thing, if you are a member, I think tomorrow's the last day for you to get into that, you know, that friends and family round for their Rune token. So reach out to Jake, and if you have questions on how to get in touch with them, reach out to us. We'll connect you. And then BetBTC is the predictions market of the Bitcoin ecosystem. Guys, they utilize ICP and Bitcoin technology for you guys to be able to place your bets in their marketplace. They have Bitcoin focused bets like, will Bitcoin get to past 100,000 or below 100,000 you know, by the end of 2024, as well as like sports bets. We played some Thanksgiving football bets the other day. I won all of mine. I think Shizzy won too, but it's really fun. They're going to have this program where you can create your own markets and earn off of players that, you know, create volume on your market. So look out for them. You can learn more at betbtc.win. And then BitPerp, we talked about them earlier. These guys are the perps and leverage decks of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They will be launching soon for their testnet coming up on Botonics. There will be a USDT cash prize for this one. We're going to have them on our show tomorrow for a recording, so you guys can get introduced to these guys, get a little bit more familiarized with them. You know, look out for them. You can learn more on bitperp.io. And then Ordinal Hive is an aggregator marketplace for the ordinals, on Bitcoin layer 1 and layer 2, as they're building on Merlin chain as well. You're gonna be able to find the cheapest ordinals around with Ordinal Hive. They also have analytics for you guys to utilize to give you guys an extra edge. If you're a trader, you want to know what's hot trading on secondary markets, they'll have all that data for you. They actually have it right now on their beta site, and then you can get in before it pumps hard and make them gains. But you can learn more at beta.ordinalhive.io. If you don't have a whitelisted address, reach out to their Discord channel to get added. They will add you right away. And then Fluid Tokens, they have a big partnership, but I don't want to jump the gun yet. I want them to announce it, but they are known as the UTXO wizard devs, as they came over from Cardano, and they came to Bitcoin and started building right away. The first to offer retail staking vaults on Bitcoin layer 1. If you are a founder of an ordinal collection or runes, and you want your holders to be able to benefit by staking and earning, reach out to Raul, which is the CTO of Fluid Tokens, or reach out to us. If you can't get in contact with them, we'll hook you up. You can learn more on their website or their Twitter as well. And then Foxy is the metaverse, building the Bitverse in the Tap ecosystem on Bitcoin layer 1. These guys are very versatile. They have different asset classes in their games, in their metaverses, BRC420s, DMTs, everything you can think of. If you have a bit miner and you have the Ultra Mythic, which is the second most rare bit miner, get ready to start mining for Doggo to the Moon. Make sure you're maintaining your miner, because if you're not going to earn. Also, if you need a miner, you can go to Mscribe and Mint, as there are some still available as well. And then they also have the Clan Wars, which is a first-person shooter game. And we have a collaboration with them. We're going to give you guys more information. It's going to be a DMT asset with these Satoshi snipers. We did pivot a little bit from that. We'll give you guys more details very, very soon. And finally, guys, Merlin Chain, your #1 scaling solution for Bitcoin native L1 assets and protocols. If you are a builder on Bitcoin layer 1 and you want your protocol to be more flexible, you can do so on Merlin chain. They have amazing builder grants and programs over there. If you are interested, apply for the grant. And if you're a serious builder, they'll seriously consider you. Two of our partners, Emblem Vault and Ordinal Hive, did qualify for that program. And they have amazing builder support over there, guys. We see it firsthand. If you're a retail user and want to swap for these runes, you can do that on merlinswap.org. You can swap for the bitmap token, which is a rune, or Doggo to the Moon as well. And we thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job on that, man. And guys, we have 451 people in here. We appreciate every single one of you guys every single day. But if you guys wouldn't mind checking out ordinalrevolution.com, we have some of the best articles dating all the way back to last year. If you know someone just entering the space, send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and get caught up to exactly where we are today, just by going through some of these amazing articles and taking the time and educating yourself. So check out these articles here. If you guys need a VPN, especially with the Magic Eden airdrop on the 10th, it is not your country that is stopping you. You cannot get in trouble, especially in the U.S. Privacy is a right. You have a right to privacy. There's no reason to give these websites your IP address, which eventually gets you your real address. They can get it from your IP. So be very careful out there. You should honestly always be rocking a VPN. Sometimes I don't because it messes up the live stream. But if you guys aren't streaming live, I mean, there's no reason not to have a VPN. So use our coupon, 70% off, get your privacy, and don't let Magic Eden tell you what you can and can't do. They're not your father. They're not your mother. They're just a company. Don't let them tell you what to do. Use a VPN. Bitcoin 2025 Las Vegas. You guys are going. Me and Yagobi will both be there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. But don't wait till next year to get your tickets. Every Friday, it feels like they go up. Get your tickets as soon as possible, and maybe even book your hotel as well. Probably the cheapest. Do everything this year to get ready for next year. It is in May, but I wouldn't wait till May to get your tickets. If you guys need merch for that event or any event, or really just a nice hoodie to crawl up in, we have some of the best, guys. We have hoodies, shirts, everything you guys need. This is the hat that Yagobi always rocks sometimes, and then we have other ones as well. Not bullish enough t-shirt, but guys, go to the top here. Click the hoodies. The hoodies are by far my favorite. I just ordered this one. Chancellor on the brink of second battle for banks. If you don't know, now you know. This is what is written in the Genesis block of Bitcoin and Fractal. They actually copied it and put it there as well. But this is absolutely, I don't know, one of my favorites here. But if you guys want Seiko the Hamster, Polka, Gizmo, Memento, Memore, the Billy Eyes, you know what I mean? And then I have a 401B, Node Monkeys, and so much more, guys. Check out our store. We'd really appreciate it. And it helps the show. But guys, we are live Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 4 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. We will be here. We have some amazing content tomorrow. We're going to actually have the Bound stablecoin recording, BitPerp recording, and an Emblem Vault recording as well tomorrow. So tomorrow's going to be very busy for us, but we'll still be here knocking things out for you guys. And until tomorrow.
Peace.
We OG, oh no, G. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload, yeah. Experts on reload, yeah. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock, ayy. Runes is coming, everybody on a knot, ayy. It's a nuisance, Ordinal Revolution, ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, it's my guy for real, bro. Got friends right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro. Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, like it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nookies on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me.